everybody, welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted podcast. It's me, Adam Hunter. We got a great show today. We got Yves Edwards in the house. He's getting too big for us. You're on Tuesday Night Contender Series. You're on Fox. You're killing it, man.
I'm trying to kill the game, man.
You came out here. You couldn't even book a McDonald's job, and now since the podcast, you're everywhere. I'm happy. We're honored to have you, man.
Well, thanks for slingshotting me into stardom.
No problem, man. It has all been this show. We also have Shane Kruchten, WSOF fighter, Marine, Purple Heart recipient. Dude is a badass, complete badass. So Shane, how's it going?
What's up, man? And former WSOF, but still a free agent trying to get that contract. So
right, okay.
See what's going on? It'll
happen. And then we have CB Gold is here.
What's up, guys?
Made his embedded. He was on Embedded last week.
Shit.
Yes.
4 Instagram stories embedded. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You're making it happen, dude. You're making it happen.
Right place, right time, I guess.
I want to thank our sponsors. Listen, people. Mack Weldon is better than whatever you're wearing right now. Okay, trust me. Mack Weldon believes in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping. They have the best underwear, best undershirts. Mack Weldon is unbelievable. They have a line of silver underwear and shirts that are naturally antimicrobial, which means they eliminate odor, okay? CB, please get this, okay? Some of you guys stink, all right? And you can get it away, okay?
It's good for sweaty balls.
Yes, you get the women don't like it when they go down on you and you smell like earring back, okay? So listen, people want you to be comfortable, so if you don't like your first pair, keep it. They will still refund you. No questions asked. Okay? I mean, it's probably you. Listen, not only does Mack Weldon's underwear, socks, and shirts look good, they perform well too. It's good for working out, going to work, going on dates. Me and my girl, we have underwear night. We have pillow fights. I'm telling you, go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off using promo code MMA. All right? So, Mack Weldon, I'm telling you, check it out. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Also, I want to thank our other sponsor, Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient recipe delivery service in the country. Their mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone. And they achieve this by supporting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients, and building a community of home chefs. They've established partnerships in over 150 local farms, fisheries, and ranchers across the U.S. As a result, their seafood is sourced sustainably under standards developed in partnership with the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. Their beef, chicken, and pork come from responsibly raised animals, and their produce is sourced from farms that practice regenerative farming. I'm telling you guys, cooking together builds strong family bonds. Cooking together builds strong family bonds. Research shows that Blue Apron families cook nearly 3 times more often. Me and my girl, we have Blue Apron night. It is the best night of the week. It's we cook together. And listen, I was spending so much at restaurants and high-end grocery chains, and now I could spend under $10 per person for a delicious meal. Their upcoming meals are seared chicken and creamy pasta salad with summer squash and sweet peppers, creamy shrimp rolls with quick pickles and sweet potato wedges, fresh basil, fettuccine pasta with sweet corn and cubanelli pepper, as well as chili butter steaks with Parmesan potatoes and spinach.
I got to get with you about that Blue Apron stuff, because when my son was here,
yes,
I taught him how to cook some pan-fried breaded chicken, and he made dinner for us one night, and that was awesome. And now that my mom's here, she's teaching me some old school Bahamian recipes. Nice. And I cooked some chicken sauce the other night, and that was awesome also. And yeah, man, it was a really good time cooking with my son and then cooking with my mom.
I'm telling you,
that's a different experience, man. It's fun.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So Blue Apron is affordable. They got variety. They're flexible. They're easy. They're guaranteed. You gotta check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/MMA roast. You'll love how good it feels, how good it tastes, and be able to create incredible home cooked meals with Blue Apron. Don't wait. That's blueapron.com/MMA roast. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. So anyway, everything is good. I had a great weekend. I was with my dad. We went to the fights on Saturday, and it was awesome. The fights. Look, I was rooting for Cormier. I was rooting for Tanya. They didn't get the nod. I was upset about that. But the whole, I would say, from top to bottom, it was a great card, a fantastic card. Although I do got to say, so Friday night I had 2 shows at the HaHa. I hosted. I don't mind hosting. I like hosting. It is, because I do a lot of time up front, and then I bring everyone up. Sometimes you get these comedian hosts who they do no time up front. They let the first comic kind of bite the bullet, bomb, and then they go up there and do 20 minutes in between each act, essentially ruining the show. I'm not
Haven't
like
they
that.
also done it to you the other way, where the host takes up way too much time?
Yeah.
And then you're like getting up there and you're like, wow, I just went from 30 to 15.
Yeah, it happens all the time. So me and my dad, we go to the fights, and look, I like getting there early. I like seeing the first fight to the last fight. I can't stand these people who they have the best seats in the house, the whole front row, and they show up for the last 3 fights or 2 fights. Those people should not be allowed in. Honestly, they
Drives
should.
me fucking crazy.
Because I'm
dude.
like, there are fans out there in the top row who they're there for fight 1.
Yeah.
And these guys, they come to either to be seen or whatever. It's just like, it's almost like they should, I don't
They'd
know.
chop off their leg to be in those seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't, and the thing with fighting is normally the best fights are not the last couple fights. It's the undercard fights.
The guys that have nothing to lose that are trying to prove themselves, they're on the undercard and they're trying to. Those are the best fights.
1,000%.
Well, those guys are fighting for something.
Yeah.
Now, when you were fighting, Eve, were you ever like, when you were first coming up, did it bother you when no one was in the crowd?
No, you don't have time to think about it as a fighter, But afterwards, yeah, you think about it then. It's one of those things, man. But as a fight fan, it bothers you, because these guys that are coming in that are spending a couple $1,000s on a seat, and they're only using it for a fraction of the night. Yeah, it's kind of shitty. It's a weird thing. It's like you don't even like this fucking thing. It's just you have money and you just think it's cool, so you want to be seen.
Oh, it's the worst. Especially it's annoying. Like The Rock was there.
Yeah,
The Rock is huge. I mean, the guy takes up like 6 seats, right? That one guy who knocked out Jimmy Manoa, I took a picture of it.
Volkan Ozdemir.
Vulcan Ozdemir knocks out The Rock, and you can't even see it because. Knocks out Manoa.
That'd be a good knockout for the night. That's
knocks
for sure.
out Manoa, and the
grand.
7 ring girls are taking pictures with The Rock, blocking everybody. Like
I saw the photo and I'm like, enjoy the fights.
oh, it was unbelievable. So stupid. But anyway, so me and my dad, we get there early, and I know because my wife's the same way. Where like by the 8th fight, they're like, all right, how many more? I mean,
It's a long night.
Yeah,
For
and
somebody who's not accustomed.
and who's not like a Jason Knight fan or something. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing. So we're from New York. In New York, there's no such thing as jaywalking. It's basically you walk across the street when you can get across the street. It's almost like Frogger, like you try to get across. But in LA, in LA, jaywalking is a big deal. By the way, I just spilled coffee all over my phone. I think my phone's now dead. Thank you, Shane. Shane the Marine is actually is taking care of
medic!
it.
We need a medic.
Cool. Thanks, man. What do you think? You think the phone's saved?
It's still good.
All right, good. Because now they can also tell when you have water on your phone or computer, they can tell it's broken. So you can't just say, "I don't know what happened." They
Yeah,
go, "Oh, yeah."
there's a
Well, they have
sticker.
that
The sticker. If it gets even moist, it
Moisture
changes
test.
color, and they're like, "Fuck you, dude."
So
It's so annoying.
So jaywalking, right? So we notice that everybody is sort of waiting to cross the street where you're supposed to cross the street, right? And my dad's like, "No, come on, like, come on." So I listen to my dad. I'm like, "All right." Right away, a cop. Right away, there's a cop, and the cop. This guy was like, "Don't you? Hey, how many signs say no pedestrian crossing?" And I wanted to be like, "What are you, a game show host? Like just why are you asking me these?" So I was like, "He's like, don't you see the signs?" And then my dad's like, sorry. And I was kind of being a wise ass. So I'm like, oh, the sun was in my eye. I couldn't see the sun. He goes, the sun's sets from the west and rises in the east. I see the sun right there. Let me see your ID. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. All right, I go, I don't have an ID. Oh, I'm gonna lock you up for not having an ID. I'm like, so now we just apologize. But this guy, some of these cops, look, I'm a fan of police officers. I know a lot of great police officers, but there are some people that their whole goal is to get people in trouble.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And it brought me back a little bit to the time the Mets and Yankees were playing. It was the first ever Subway Series. First ever, right? So it was like game 2. So I take my little brother and his friend and my friend Noah. I was 18 years old. So we go to the Bronx, and this thing was so bad that while you're walking in, we go to the bleachers, they go, Met fans, enter at your own risk. They tell you that while they're giving you the tickets, right? I'm like, that's fucking. So the whole time in the bleachers, Met fans were getting beers thrown on their heads. Like 6 fights broke out. It was crazy. So we had to leave. We left because my little brother had a little league game I had to get him to. So of course my friend, my car breaks down. As I had one of those cars that would just randomly break down, and the car wouldn't start. So we called AAA for a jump. So the guy's like, all right, meet us on, I don't know, 150th and whatever. We met at the exact corner. This cop comes with his friend, and he's like, the AAA is for us. I go, no. We told him to meet us right here. He goes, you have a problem with that? I'm like, and at the time I was 18 years old, and you think all cops are good and blah, blah. I go, no.
If you're white.
If you're white, yeah. I'm white. So I'm like, yeah, I got a problem with that. The guy took me and threw me against a tree. A huge cop. And I'm like, what are you doing? You can't do this. He goes, come into my office. He takes me, drags me into a bathroom in a parking lot. I go, this is your office? He goes, close enough. And the guy, and I could smell the alcohol in his breath. So he goes, give me your best punch. He goes, come on. Puts his hands out. He goes, come on, try to knock me out, kid. So at the time, I'm like, man, I might be able to fucking knock this guy out, you know? But then I'm like, well, what if I don't? The guy was a big guy. then I'm going to jail.
Is he blocking the door?
So I was like, sir, I don't want to hit you. Yeah, I don't want to hit you. I just want to get home. I got my little brother. He goes, listen, and he got to give me a speech about how when he was a kid, just this long. So then, like, at the end, like, we get out of there, and my friend's like, get his badge number. So I'm like, I go back. I'm like, can I have your badge number? Want to go back to my office? I go, no. I don't want to go back to the office. So then I go to another cop, and I'm like, that guy just roughed me up. He goes, welcome to the Bronx, kid. So it took me back there a little bit. So I don't know. That was to get in. So anyway, so that was the fights. Let's talk about the fights themselves. Like I said, I was rooting for Daniel Cormier, and the people where I was with thought that Cormier won the first 2 rounds. At first, I was like, he's using the wrong strategy. Why wouldn't he just try to get him against a cage? How come he's not trying to wrestle him? He wrestled Anthony Johnson. But then I'm like, well, he did that the first fight and clearly lost.
Yeah.
And he was landing more punches and laughing at John Jones's punches, laughing at him, literally laughing until he got kicked in the head.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help just feel terrible for the guy because he really is he just has like the best luck and then the worst luck. And
I thought he had a good game plan going in. I mean, hitting him, getting in and out right away, not letting John Jones use that range. That's what John Jones owns, is the range, and he wasn't letting him get anywhere near it. And then the head kick landed
clean.
Yeah.
You misread that for sure.
Oh yeah.
I was rooting for John going in that fight. I know he's screwed up a bunch, but like I said before, I said it here. You know, he gets out of his way. He gets out of his own way. He'll come back and become the champ again. He's just a talent. But DC was doing a really good job. He was walking him down, and the first round was close, and the second round I thought it was more convincing for DC. So, but when John landed that head kick, whoo, that was beautiful.
It was, you know what? I think I was sitting next to DC's wife because she was crying, and then people were like, "You're dead. You're never getting up." And then she was like, I think it was. I was sitting next to what's name's wife, the coach's wife from American, AKA Mendez's wife.
Yep.
And I think it was DC's wife. I'm not sure, but she's like, "Fuck you," and she wanted to fight the person behind. It was just, it's hard to celebrate when you're sitting with the people. I wasn't celebrating anyway, but man, it was that much worse when you're seeing people that are crying. And man, but you got to think that if Daniel Cormier, didn't have to wrestle Cael Sanderson in the finals, he would have been a national champion. And if he was in any other weight class, including heavyweight, I mean, somebody did Josh Barnett at heavyweight. Could he beat Cain Velasquez? Could he beat Stipe Miocic? Arguably, yes, but he happens to be with the greatest fighter of all time in his weight division. And you can't help but kind of feel for a guy like that.
And the only 2 losses of his pro career are against the same guy.
But if they fought again,
yeah,
who do you think wins in like the third? If they fought again for the third time,
I think the best opportunity for Daniel to beat John was this past weekend, with him being gone for that long. I think the rust will be off next time he's out there, and I think really the only challenge for John out there right now is Gustafsson. Of course, he said he didn't train for that fight, and that could be true or whatever. But that's a guy who's built a lot like him, and gave him a lot of problems the first time. So he can train all he wants, and we'll see if the fight plays out any differently. But I I think him and DC fight again. I think he wins. Besides the fact that he's 1-2, he may be in his head, and yeah, he's got that edge over him. I think at this point.
But what about this guy Volkan? I mean, this dude, it doesn't even look like he's even hitting you. He hits hard, but people are just falling apart. I mean, Jimmy Manoa. Have you ever seen Manoa go down like
One
that?
time.
Yeah,
And
Anthony
Anthony
Johnson.
It was Rumble.
Rumble.
Rumble, right?
Rumble put him
that
down.
You have to kind of separate from the whole situation. because
Rumble's his own
Rumble's
group. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fight I want to see. Rumble versus Volkan. That
Rumble says he's only coming back for Jones.
But we don't know how good Volkan is, though, because we haven't
don't.
seen him.
Right.
It could be one of those things where, I mean, we've seen that in boxing plenty of times. This, knockout artist, and then he goes up against a.
Remember? Oh God, what's his name? I can't remember.
What division? Because
Light heavyweight. He
wasn't Houston Alexander.
Houston
was
Alexander.
It? As soon as you said it, I'm like,
yeah.
that's Houston.
You know?
You think? Yeah, but this dude seems better than Houston.
Yeah.
Oh, he's way more
Well-rounded.
well-rounded out of a Swedish camp.
Houston lost
you
to
know.
Kimbo.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Kimbo. But that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
But the thing is, we haven't seen anything out of this kid yet. We've only seen him twice in the octagon, and yeah, he smoked two good guys. But
True.
that's the same thing what happened with Houston Alexander the first time he came in. He
Right.
smoked two good guys right out of the gate.
Or, I mean, so could you. Or, I mean, we've seen, like, guys that come out of nowhere. You're like, oh, my, this is the next. I remember Samuel Peter as a boxer. The Nigerian Nightmare.
Yeah.
He was a guy that was just murdering people. Another fight, what?
This he's actually 3-0 in the UFC right now.
Okay.
He beat OSP in his debut by split. But yeah, he's 3-0, and the two knockouts, you have under 90 seconds in two fights. It's scary, but I had that feeling about Manoa. I'm like, his chin's not exactly there. If it gets hit,
I also think Manoa should only fight in England.
England.
There are some people. That they only seem like, not only, but when they fight in front of their hometown, they're different fighters, and other people where it works against them, like Cerrone in Colorado or something, or that's Cerrone, but there are other people where it's against them. But yeah, now who I felt bad for was Tanya Evinger. Tanya Evinger. She's been on the podcast. I'm a fan of Tanya. We love Tanya. Cyborg, Cyborg just is too big and too strong and too athletic.
She's too much woman for that weight class.
I used to train with Cyborg, and hell no.
Really?
Yeah, I trained with her for almost better part of 3 years, and holy crap, when she comes out of left field and starts hitting you, there is no training. There's no 70%. It's 130 or 0.
Yeah, I knew that. So I knew that, like, when Tanya got dropped by the jab.
Yeah, it
in
was
the first punch into the fight. I was like, I think that kind of changed the whole fight.
Well, yeah, and I rolled
There.
with Tanya after my fight at Madison Square Garden. I flew out to Houston. I hung out with her, and I rolled with her. I fought her teammate, and I rolled with Tanya, and she was strong, but I was like, this isn't Cyborg strong. As soon as Tanya was like rolling with me, I was like, oh shit, when they announced the fight, and I was gutting for her. I mean, I had money on her because she was such a huge underdog.
I was during the fight. I was like, "You got this, Tanya," and people looked at me and started laughing.
Yeah.
I wasn't
think
trying
so.
to be funny.
But at the same time, you got to give her. I mean, 3 rounds with Cyborg.
she made it a lot farther than most people.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that there may be something. I was hearing rumors from fight camps and stuff. There's a rematch clause in both girls' contracts. So Tanya may get an immediate rematch because they don't have anybody else to do. And I'm also hearing that Megan Anderson is stuck in Australia for 10 years.
10 years.
So
10 years.
a
Why would
visa-
she be stuck for 10 years?
Supposedly it was a visa situation. She
Come
did not
on.
get it handled, and they told her you have to go home. That's why she pulled out of this fight. She had to go home, and it doesn't look like she will be able to get a U.S. visa for 10 years. So
That's
she said,
bullshit.
Cyborg even
fight in
said,
Canada.
if I'll fight Megan, I'll go to Australia just to clutch all the, silence everyone. So I think that's going to be the only chance of a Cyborg Megan Anderson. But Tanya may be getting her immediate rematch.
I mean, I don't think the UFC is going to do that rematch, and I don't
Nobody
think
really wants to see that.
I don't think Tanya wants. I don't think Tanya should be at 145. It's
No,
not, it's not her
Tanya
weight
should be at
class.
135.
Yeah, I mean, you look at her body and you're like, okay, she could easily make 135. It was one of those things, though. I don't know. Call me crazy, but let's say that fight goes 5 rounds. Was there a chance of Cyborg getting tired? No chance.
No, she was setting the pace. You don't get tired when you're setting the pace.
And she was gradually upping it all the way till the knockout. She was constantly clicking it one more notch every 2 seconds. It was like, oh God. And I've seen Cyborg go at it in the gym for 3 hours straight with her ex-husband, just beating the crap out of each other, Evangelise, and they would kickbox and beat the shit out of each other with no shin pads. So don't tell me that 5 rounds Cyborg's going to get tired.
All right.
Shoot the box.
By the way,
shoot the box
Shane,
right
we
there.
have to talk about how you got called out. Now, in the World Series of Fighting, Andre
PFL
Harrison,
now. Professional Fighters League, whatever, yeah.
All right. So PFL stands for pretty fucking lame as far as like how I'm a Ray
poor
Seffo
fight
fan.
league.
I like what they're doing, but they can't go up against the fucking the Super Bowl and the best fight of the year. And I mean, I'm sure they have something with McGregor, Mayweather. Like they gotta like. You're telling me nobody is in there going, hey, listen, here are our possible fight schedules. I mean, nobody goes online and says, hey, this is the time. Sorry, it's New Year's Eve. I don't think people are going to.
Super Bowl.
I don't think people are going to say, hey, they had a fight at like 9 in the morning on New Year's Eve. The whole world's hungover, but people are going to watch Jake Shields versus John Fitch. I mean, who is doing this?
The one they canceled on 205 night?
Yeah.
No. We were there. We fought at MSG on
MSG.
New Year's Eve.
No, but they originally had it scheduled for the same day.
Yeah, that was
like,
the first card I was supposed to be on with Paul Bradley. That was we were supposed on 205 night. That was NBC to Ray Seffo's defense. NBC came and goes, here's your fight schedule.
I know Ray Seffo. He has no defense. Okay,
Yeah.
he's just,
Oh shit! Come on now, Ray's a good guy.
He is. He's a great guy. But anyway, so Andre Harrison is who I think probably the most underrated fighter in the world. He's 16-0
With the most gaps in his game. Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead,
Okay,
keep going.
16-0. Great wrestler from New York.
Great.
Champion. Yeah, I think he was a state champ.
Of JV?
He wrestled in college. Also, just a tough guy.
Yeah.
Beat Lance Palmer. And you have been trolling this guy on online. You've been getting under his skin. You've been talking shit.
Sounds like Georgie,
saying
huh?
all this stuff. So he wins his fight and then calls you out.
Did you see Boss Ritten's face?
You're not even in the W. You're not right now. You don't even have a contract.
No.
Is that even your weight class?
Yeah,
oh, that's your weight
145.
class.
Yeah.
Okay. How did this happen?
Yeah, I just been trolling him. Why not? So we were on the card together at Madison Square Garden, and then he went out and beat Lance Palmer. I mean, he's a good kid. He's good heart and everything like that. But it's just I see a lot of holes in his game. I think his wrestling's good for wrestling, but it's not fighting wrestling. I mean. And then going out, I flew out to Seattle to troll him even harder because why not? I mean, you can troll on the internet, but why not just show up? Right. And then I sat cage side, and he saw me and calls me out in Boss Ritten's face. Like, what the fuck is going on?
He called you out.
Yeah, and gave up the $1 million shot. And Boss Ritten kept trying to get him to talk about the $1 million. And he's like, no, I want to fight him.
Wow.
Yeah. So
now, where do you see yourself beating him?
He's my grinding. I would beat him up on the cage all day long.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, but wrestling, you're gonna give him the advantage, right?
Open mat wrestling. I'm not an open mat wrestler. Yeah.
Okay, but striking, you're giving yourself the advantage.
I think striking's kind of comparable because both of us have. I mean, mediocre striking at best, but both of us are really good wrestlers. But I think I have the jiu-jitsu game to back it up.
You're
He
a brown
doesn't have.
belt.
Yeah, he doesn't have the jiu-jitsu. Gracie Baja. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you saw the bet. He wants me to wear a Gracie Baja shirt if we fight and I lose, and he's gonna 10th Planet tattoo if I beat his after I beat his ass.
What do you have against Gracie Baja?
Nothing against Gracie Baja other than obviously they don't show submissions. He had like 10 submissions wide open the whole fight and just fucking sat there and looked at him.
So you think 10th Planet is better than Gracie Baja?
Fuck yeah.
Like just much better.
A fucking world difference. I mean, you wear.
I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy, but what's your take on this?
Just fight.
That's what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it's like Yves said. It's a fight. But I have respect for Andre. Andre's a good kid. But he's got a lot of holes in his game, and all he throws is a fucking left upper head kick, and a right uppercut.
Listen, man,
What the
nobody's
hell?
got more balls than you.
Come on.
You're a hero. I mean, you served our country. Where were you stationed?
Iraq.
How many times?
2 times.
For how long?
Long enough, and I got hurt both times.
And what was your job in the military?
I was infantry. I was a designated marksman.
You were a marksman.
Yeah.
So, like, what exactly is that?
Pull the trigger, shoot
Okay.
people,
So
kick doors down.
kick doors down, shoot people.
Yeah.
Right. All right. And then where did you get shot?
I got RPG blew up next to my face on April 29th of 03 when I was 17, right 2 months before my 18th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much pain were you in?
I wanted to get back in the fight right away, so I jumped. I mean, they literally sewed me up, threw me back in the field, and went on my way.
But now, how bad was your face?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can see the scarring and stuff on the side of my face. I had underneath my eye, over my eye, and on the side of my scalp, fucked up. But it just all, you know, whatever. It's just a thing, you know. I just wanted to kill more people, so let's go back.
All right. So that was the first time, and then you came back the second time.
Yeah, I came back the second time. I was a PSD, so personal security detail, for one of the generals. And while we were working with the general, my dumb ass ends up going out and getting hurt. You know, ISIS, Al-Qaeda came out and decided that they were going to try to whoop my ass again. That time didn't work well either for them. You know, more people died on their side than our side. And, you know, I was wounded, ended up getting medically released out of the Marine Corps in 05, and here I am.
Any hand-to-hand combat?
No hand-to-hand. Yeah, none of that shit. Yeah.
So how good of a shot are you?
I'd say pretty good.
I'll go stand in my car and we'll see what happens.
Like American Sniper to you, how much better is he than you?
Oh, he's fucking world of difference. I mean, Chris Kyle's a legend. Yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
Yeah, I met Chris Kyle while he was alive. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then you came out and you had a huge coke problem.
Yeah, fucking gargantuous. Yeah.
You got up to how much?
262 pounds was the heaviest I was at, and I actually fought at that weight.
So you were a fat cokehead.
Oh, fucking huge. I was self-sponsored by Burger King and everything else.
All right. So then you started fighting, started training.
Yeah.
And now here you are. How many years later?
Almost 12 now.
Nice.
Yeah, 12 years later, still fighting, still throwing it down.
So that's the thing. Like when I met your ex-wife, who was this hot Asian girl, she was like trying to get you to stop fighting. She kept saying to you, because at the time your eye was hanging out of your head.
Yeah, when I got my, I fought Mike Corey on a 2 weeks notice, and I detached my retina and tore my orbital, or fucked up my orbital.
Right, and your wife's like, she wants you to stop doing this.
Yeah, and I told her to fuck off. That was a big mistake, even being married to her.
But that was, you got married after 2 days, right?
Well, I got married because of, you know, she was pregnant with our daughter, and I got married because that way she could have medical coverage and everything like that.
But you got married after how long of knowing her?
She got pregnant and, you know, had to do the right thing in my eyes, and that was just fucking stupid.
Right, okay. But I'm saying, like, a woman like her is telling you to stop fighting, and I'm like, listen, this guy needs this.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you didn't have fighting or this or that, you were 280, you were doing, but you're the kind of guy, you ride a motorcycle, you're the military guy, you do all kinds of stunts, you fight. This is like what keeps you going. There are certain people like you that MMA, while other people are like, that's insane, but this is sort of like, this is like your sanity.
Yeah, I need adrenaline. If I don't have adrenaline, to me is like Prozac is to some fucking crackhead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was thinking about that. Like, there are certain people that this is their therapy.
Yeah, that's nuts. I think I took it for granted for a long time, the stuff you guys go through. But my girl, she's a psychologist, and she works with a lot of PTSD soldiers and whatnot. And she started this program for the Australian military, and she's doing this thing for the UN now. And like, I definitely want to talk to you when we're done here.
For sure.
About this, but the stuff like that's war and what's going on over there and what you guys have to deal with. That's it's very hard to it's hard to even imagine and fathom. You know, that's a completely different world. And then for you guys to come back home and like have to live with regular people, you know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
Oh, I know.
It's a big deal, man. It's a big step back. You got to scale back so many different things that people, regular people anyway, they don't even consider.
For sure.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I want to pick your brain.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Sure.
Nice. All right. I like it. We're bonding badasses here. By the way, also with Cyborg, people stop saying Cyborg's a man. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's a man."
I agree, man.
She's a cheater.
Shit, I think
I'm
that's
tired of the cheater shit too.
Yeah.
I'm tired of cheater shit. I'm tired of that's a man shit. Somebody tweeted something and tagged me in it about Cyborg, something about Trump not allowing her to fight anything, and it's like,
it's so stupid.
She isn't hurting anybody except opponents. She isn't asking for anything special. She isn't doing anything out of line. She's a fighter. She goes in there to fight. If it's not a beauty pageant. She's not trying to be the prettiest girl on the stage. She's trying to be the number one.
Not only that,
145
but you're
pounder.
assuming that all men look like that. I don't know any men that looks like that. Like, so,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
people. Oh, she's a man. I go, really? I'm a man. I look nothing like that.
I don't have an 8-pack.
Well, like all men are walking around with like that's not a man. That's that's a beast.
Yeah.
That's in the most polite form is what I'm trying to say. That's that's a epic human being.
Well, what's crazy about Cyborg too is like I've traveled with her, been in the airport, and when she checks out a guy, like she wants to manhandle a man, and she's all, you see him? I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, no, I don't know. Shit, I'm just your teammate.
Yeah.
It's scary, but no, she's very feminine and shit, and this whole cheater shit too.
Well, she did get caught cheating. She did.
Okay.
7 years, 8 years
Yeah.
ago.
Whatever. She got caught cheating, and
So did
A lot of
Frank Mir. So did
Chad
9.
Mendes,
Yeah.
John Jones.
but you know what though? If people want to call those people cheaters, they did cheat.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, "Oh,
that's
But that's what punishment and rehabilitation is for.
Yes,
Like,
correct.
you're saying,
You're
like,
suspended for a reason.
Once you're a thing, you're always that
No,
thing.
you're right. You're right. I understand your point, but at the same time, I think that, like, granted, I think a lot of people fell in love with Gina Carano, and when she beat Gina Carano, people were very upset about that.
No, she didn't beat her. She murdered her.
No, Carano did pretty good for a second. She was doing okay.
Hey,
I mean, look, but the bottom line is, like, when Bubba Jenkins told me that, like, when Cyborg sprawled on Bubba, and Bubba started seeing stars. And we're talking about a world-class athlete in Bubba Jenkins as a wrestler.
Yeah, as a wrestler,
guy who
yeah.
beat Jordan Burroughs.
One of the best in the world.
And all these guys. And when he's like, dude, this is not,
No.
and that's the thing. Although, listen, Tanya came to my show on Monday. That was awesome. I
saw that picture.
I was giving her a hard time about the fight. I'm like, hey, listen, no matter how bad, you're so inspiring, because no matter how bad my life is, I'm not getting beat up by Cyber. She was laughing her ass off, and she's such a cool chick.
Wait, I love Tanya's interview, and they're like, why did you take this fight? And they're like, she's all, did you see what they paid me? I was like,
she got
damn.
100,000, 110,000, and there was somebody complaining about that. Like, oh, how could she get that? It was her first fight. No. You should be complaining that it's not enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's beyond established.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
And
beyond
undefeated for how many years?
well, I
Yeah.
watched a boxing match on Saturday night. Adrian Broner, Mikey Garcia. They each got $1 million. $1 million.
How was the fight?
Mikey Garcia won, and afterwards, Adrian Broner goes, "Listen, I don't give a shit what you guys say. You're still gonna pay to see me. That's how good I am. I'm still Adrian Broner, and you can still get it." But the thing was, okay, fine, it's Adrian Broner, whatever. But the point is that to me, Adrian Broner should not be making $1 million, and and Tanya getting 100,000.
Or big time debuts in the UFC making less than a guy who's had like 2 or 3 fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they really should have the Ali Act, and I mean that seems like it's going to help as far as getting these guys paid more and girls paid more, because it's ridiculous. Although it was funny though, like so we'll talk about Tyron Woodley for a second. Here are my thoughts about Tyron Woodley. Listen, Tyron Woodley won every round against Damian Maia. He won every round, and I understand people are saying it wasn't that exciting, but it takes 2 to make a fight.
Yep.
Damian Maia could not take Woodley down. He tried 14 times and failed every single time. Woodley kept hurting Maia, and yeah, he didn't finish him, but Woodley's also the same guy that everyone says gasses. Oh, he gasses. Well, you throw 40 punches, you're not going to gas. Now, granted, the crowd was booing. It was the second time that in a row or a Woodley fight where the crowd's booing. But my whole thing is, if you can't beat these guys, if you can't beat Ben Askren, if you can't beat Tyron Woodley, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Sports about winning. People say it's about entertainment. I disagree. It's about winning. There are enough guys out there like Ricardo Lamas and Jason Knight that are just going to fucking play rock'em sock'em robots where you're going to see that. When it comes to Tyron Woodley, now my dad had a different take. I was with my dad, and he's like, Sugar Ray Robinson would have killed these guys. That's what he always says. And he's like, what is he doing? He goes, I don't blame him. I don't want to get hit either. It's like, he doesn't want to get hit. Look, you win, you don't get hit. My dad was like, I can do this. That's what he said. I go, Dad, no, you can't do this. Yeah, I can do that. I think I could do the same. No, Dad, you can't. a lot of people they do think. Look, it's a tough situation because as I understand where Dana's coming from. Of let's not put Woodley in major. You can't have close up
super
show
cards.
with that.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know he's fighting the most dangerous jiu-jitsu guy in MMA. What do you want him to do? It's not. If this was EBI, I'd be like, okay, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
If it was Metamoris, I'd say it's not. It's an MMA fight, and Woodley won every round. Yves.
Yeah, Tyron's my boy, man. But here's when I look at it. I agree. He won that fight. He won that fight convincingly. When you look at the rules and you play by the rules to win. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Where I think fans have a problem with Tyron is in his demands for their adoration. When you demand that type of thing, then you have to take more risk. That's what people love. That's why people love the fighters that take those risks. That's why people loved Robbie Lawler as a champion. That's why people like Conor McGregor, because he gets into these exchanges and is willing to take those risks. You can't say, I'm the greatest, I'm this, and I'm that, and then not put yourself in the position to prove that, right? Like, just winning by the scorecards is not the way that people are going to adore you. So it has nothing to do, for me anyway, the way fans react to Tyron has nothing to do with the skill set that he shows in there and playing by the rules. It has to do with the claims that he's making and then not doing anything that stands up or back those claims up.
We knocked out Robbie Lawler in a minute and a half.
And since then, right? I mean, the first fight with Stephen Thompson, yeah, it had its moments of entertainment, but they both really didn't want to engage. Yeah, you don't put all of that on Tyron, but at the same time, that like he's a part of that fight. And for him to say that I'm the greatest and I'm doing this and I'm the baddest and blah, 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 then, okay, we'll go out there and take a few more risks if you want the fans to jump on board. That's all I'm saying. It has nothing to do with whether or not he's capable of winning these fights.
You don't think like him and Askren now are becoming like the NWO of MMA, where now they get booed everywhere?
It's funny that you say that because like watching Tyron throughout the week and seeing the way he is, he's playing the heel role really, really well. Like, he's playing the bad guy now, and it's like, I'm going to fuck him up. I'm going to knock him out, this and that. And then people are like, well, he's a fucking asshole, so I'm going to boo at him. No, he's taking the approach of the heel. He was the nice guy for a long time. Nobody gave him any comeuppance. Nobody gave him anything. All of a sudden, he turns into, like, I'm fucking Tyron Woodley. Fuck the fans. And everybody's like, oh, I fucking hate him. But you're
now
still
they're talking about him.
You're still bringing him up, and you see him with the fans. And I will tell you an interaction I had with him Friday night. He acknowledged the fans. He said, I got to go, this and that. Somebody went up to him, end of the night, Friday night, last thing before sleep, and then the fight. Y'all don't want me getting no sleep, do you? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, from Ryan Hall, I could take it a different way. From him, I find it funny.
Was he kidding or no?
He's playing the heel well. From a guy that's been a WWE fan for as long as I am.
Did you get a hotel there?
No, I drove to Anaheim every day.
Every day you drove to Anaheim. How many days in a row?
I did Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
And your goal
Saturday,
was to get everyone's autograph?
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't you have everyone's autograph right now?
No.
Whose autograph don't you have that was on that card?
Well, now I have everybody on the card, but I started a new project for myself.
What's the project?
It's a certain kind of image that friends of mine are making, and I'm printing them 11 by 14, and actually it was so loved by Brian Ortega that I ended up going to his room on...
Did you give him a foot massage?
Yeah, what did you do in his room?
When I walked into his room, he was under the covers, and it was like, it was Friday, it was just after the cut, and he looked...
This is becoming really
bad.
creepy.
He was eating
under the covers.
pasta with tomato sauce.
So what did you do in his room?
I printed a bigger image. I printed this image.
Right, okay.
And I printed it bigger for him. I had him sign one, and I gave it to him. So his coach invited me up to the room, and he ended up giving me a walkout shirt for hooking him up with the image.
Right.
But no, so I'm working on those. I'm trying to build a new wall.
And then what do? You put this in like your house? And
I'm moving in about 5-6 months.
Because you have too many autographs in there?
No, my girl and I are moving in together.
Oh, wow.
And so my man cave is going to be like all this stuff. I'm just printing them and trying to get different fighters and stuff.
All right.
Nice.
I was pretty popular last week.
Yeah, you were on. I got so many things because you showed off your 5 Conor McGregor tattoos.
I didn't. I only showed one. I didn't
really know how to feel about it.
You know what? I got an embedded episode named after me, so I'm immortal.
What was it? What's it
It's
called?
called I Have 6 Conor Tats. That's what it's called. And then Cyborg remembered me from the interview with Tanya and told me, the next time I see you, you better have a Cyborg tattoo. So
are you getting that?
Yeah. I mean, my birthday's on Sunday, so I got to get a tattoo for my birthday. Get it? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm getting. You have no room.
Get it on your face.
You died.
Oh, shit.
Why don't I get Randy Couture's girlfriend tell me to get unemployed across my forehead?
So anyway, all right, let's talk about what happened afterwards. So Dana then said, look, we're not going to put this guy in a main event based on that performance. Tyron said, if you don't apologize to me, Dana, I'm going to release dirt on the UFC. What dirt does it? What is he talking about? Yves, tell us. You're an insider guy. What is he talking about?
There's always dirt. There's always something that somebody has done or somebody has said that's not cool. I mean, you I can't even explain. I don't know what the dirt is exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Dana has said some things to Tyron in private that Tyron would not want out there, as it would possibly hurt Dana's image or whatever.
But is this smart for Tyron to be? I mean, someone said, "Where is he going to the Tito Ortiz School of Handling Business?" I mean,
have a look at it. Tito was in the cage on Saturday.
Yeah.
Tito's back in the UFC, being acknowledged again.
Great, but at the same time, you know, I mean, is it? If I'm Tyron, do you really want to bite the hand that feeds you?
I know exactly what you mean, and I don't think that's a good idea, because in the end, I mean, Dana White is he's the man when it comes to, he can do whatever he wants. I mean, when we talked about, or when they profiled DC versus Anthony Rumble Johnson for the title, and they said the first time the title is going to be held by somebody different in a long time. They went back and they showed the history of the belt. They showed it from Chuck. They didn't show Tito and Frank.
Yeah,
right.
I remember that.
They can delete history, man. They can erase history. So to say something like that, it's like you're challenging a god of MMA. Like,
is he
literally can erase it.
Is he trying to pull a Conor of, like, I'm not doing this? Like, because Conor did the same thing. I'm not advertising for 200. I need this fight or whatever it is. And Dana was like, you know what, then fuck you. But he ended up getting what.
Well, the thing is, Conor
wanted.
has a whole country behind him.
Do you think Tyron's
guy.
doing the same thing?
And Conor
can he get those results?
No, because he's not knocking people out like Conor. He doesn't have the whole Ireland behind him, and also he's not. Conor, even in his losses, was entertaining.
Yeah.
Who's next for Woodley?
Who is next?
I'm hearing Lawler. I'm hearing Robbie, and Tyron said no. So I don't know who they're giving him at welterweight.
I think he wants GSP or Nick Diaz.
Yeah, he wants the money fight, but that's one of those things, man. It's like when they were talking about him and Bisping as a possible, like, super fight, and it's like, you talking about super fights when there are still challenges at that weight class.
Yeah.
It doesn't sell. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't play out.
The only fights that really made sense, the super fights, were like the Mighty Mouse ones, because Ray Borg is a challenge, and Ray Borg can win, but at the same time, a lot of people are going to be more enticed by Mighty Mouse versus TJ or Dominic or even Cody. Then Bisping has 5 guys in his weight class
that he hasn't fought yet.
Oh, they're all salivating.
That you could argue would be the favorite going into that fight.
Yeah.
Being in Chris Weidman, Romero, Whitaker, Jacare, and
Rockhold.
Even Derek Brunson would be a good fight for Bisping.
Yeah.
So, all right, that being said, the Cowboy fight. Who did I think won that fight? I would say, being there, I was pulling for Cowboy, because his wife or his girlfriend was there, and I know her. They came to the show, and
you can't not like
yada
Cowboy.
yada. Man, I thought Cowboy won the first round barely, won the second, lost the third, but you could argue that Lawler did more damage in the first, and even though Cowboy ended up on top, he didn't really do that much damage on top. So I didn't have a problem per se with the way it went. but I would like to have seen Cowboy get the nod. Here's what I really want to see, though, is them to create a 165-pound division, because it just seems that there's a group of guys that are too big for 55, being Cowboy, Masvidal, let's say Colby
Guys like
Covington,
Bendo
Kevin Lee.
Yeah, a whole bunch.
And they're too small for 170. And it would only make sense that 65 is the way to go, and then make a 75, 85. If you want to make it go 85, 205, or even a 95.
Didn't the ABC just approve that?
Yeah.
Now it's up to each league or whatever
The
to
UFC, I
make
think
their own
Dana
choice.
said no. He
Thought-
said we're not adding more.
Yeah, Dana said
divisions.
that what's there is there.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this?
When you say Dana said no, it's
For
one of
now.
those- yeah,
For now.
exactly.
Till tomorrow.
You can't really take that as gospel, because things change. I mean, women were never supposed to be in the UFC.
Yeah, of course.
145.
At all.
Do they add them all at once if they do, or do they do it gradually like they're doing the girls right now, where you do like once a year? Do you just do, we've got 65, 75, 95 now, or do we do, okay, we're bringing in 65, in like 6 to 8 months we're going to do another Ultimate Fighter
I would say they're
with
probably
75.
going to.
Well, they're doing what, 25 right now, right?
They're doing, the next is
Yeah.
the 25 girls, but
Yeah.
they haven't added a men's weight class since flyweight, and that was, right when the WEC got bought out, which was already about 6 years ago.
But here's also what I think happens with some of these guys that move up. I think their opponents take them lightly. I think you got guys like Kelvin Gastelum when he went up to 85, or Cowboy going up to 70, Masvidal going up. The guy going, are you kidding me? I destroyed these guys in the gym that are lighter. There's no way. I'm fighting guys coming down from whatever. After 2 or 3 fights, though, people stop taking them lightly. And then you see the size difference.
And
then
Kelvin's
you
a
see-
gangster, and people start walking in, and everybody's like, "Wait, who the fuck is this dude?"
Yeah.
10th planet, by the way.
On
But
the way to
anyways,
the cage,
But who do you
bro.
think? Who do you think won that fight? The Cowboy versus Cerrone. I mean, for Cowboy versus
Lawler.
I think Lawler won it. It was very
here.
close, but
I had 1 and 3.
yeah, I have to give Cerrone big props. I mean, that dude stood toe to toe with Lawler, and people had no chance, a snowball chance in hell for Cerrone even staying in it that long. And in that first round, it got scary. But he came back and did typical Cerrone, always in your face, no matter if you're going to lose or whatever. He's throwing down.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't expect that out of Cerrone after the first round with Robbie. You think that a guy like Robbie pushing him around, beating him up like that a bit in the first, that he would kind of fold. He wasn't able to come back against a guy like Masvidal, but he grew from that fight, because to come back in the second round like that and to look that good against Robbie in the second round. I think he
Robbie
did
sometimes
well.
is a slow starter,
So
and
is
then
Chris
and then when he
Cowboy.
came
Yeah.
at him like that, has anybody in your career shocked you where you're like, oh, it's going to be a slow starter? Masvidal against you?
Yeah, he shocked me because I'd never seen him throw kicks, and in one of the first exchanges he threw a head kick, and I was like, the fuck, where'd that come from? And then later on he did hit me, he did land one, and won the fight with it. But yeah, it's one of those things. But Cowboy made the adjustment. Robbie did come out quick, jumped on him. He survived that, got the takedown late in the round. I don't think he did enough to win the round at that point. I think Robbie still won the first. But then the second round, he did a great job. I mean, he kept him on the outside, kept landing big shots, and he outpointed him in the second round. But Robbie's Robbie.
Yeah.
Round 3, this is what needs to be done. And Robbie's the kind of guy who's going to do what needs to be done.
Speaking of Masvidal, so his best friend Colby Covington, we've had on the show. So after Woodley said, I have dirt on the UFC, Colby then tagged Dana White and said, hey, just so you know, I have dirt on Woodley.
I saw that.
I love that Colby jumps in post-fight on anybody he wants.
And everybody was saying, oh, you're the worst, you're a snitch, you're a brown noser.
He's just trying to get a fight, man. This is the game.
Can't hate on him.
This is the game.
Now, were you there? Colby said he was beating up Woodley in practice. Were you there?
I was there, but I was training at the same time, so I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No.
Because Dean said that's not really what happened. He was there. It was like he didn't really beat up on him, but Colby says differently. How good is Colby Covington?
Colby is legit. Colby's kickboxing is getting better, but he's a pressure guy, man. He's strong, good wrestling. Colby's tough.
How would he do against Woodley, you think?
That's a good fight. honestly, that's a good fight. Tyron has a lot more experience right now. I think Tyron is probably the better boxer at this point, but Colby he's competent and he's good. I mean, he's that level wrestler, you know. And Colby can pace Tyron. Like Colby can put a pace on that Tyron. Tyron has that reputation of fading. I know he hasn't faded in these last couple of fights, but he's also been able to control the pace. Colby can control the pace, I believe, in a fight like that. But can he survive long enough? Like Tyron's a better boxer, I believe. Tyron can land a shot that could hurt him and possibly take him out before the pace sets in. So there's that. I mean, a couple more fights, Colby will be ready for it, though.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of guys out there, like Colby Covington or, you know, the James Vicks, or they're right on like the bubble, but because they're not, you know, they don't have the flash, or they're not from a smaller country, or they get overlooked, you know, and they have to, you know, do shit to kind of get them, you know, get their name out there. And some of it's like calling out the champ or brown nosing the boss. Or, do you think that's a good thing, that what he's doing, or would you advise, if you were his advisor, would you say, listen, just shut up, let your fight dude talking, you know, or would you say, you know what, hey, let's just keep being annoying and make noise and see what happens?
The distance between him and Tyron is too much right now for him to be running his mouth in that direction. I mean, yeah, you can do that, but at the same time, you still need to worry about who's next, because that's unrealistic. You're not fighting Tyron anytime soon. You know, not unless you do something spectacular, Dana White is pissed off, and everything just happens to work out. Otherwise, that's not going to happen. He needs to fight like a Kamaru Usman, somebody in the 8 through 15. You know, he needs to beat some of those guys convincingly and slowly get to that point. But the guy who's more likely to get that shot is Masvidal than Colby right now. Right.
By the way, speaking of a number 15 guy who fought a number 3 guy, Jason Knight. I was pulling for Jason Knight.
I think everybody was. I think everybody likes this guy.
You know, Hick Diaz, they call him. The guy, but the thing is I don't want to say heart can only get you so far, but eventually heart can get you very far when, you know, but you get the top 3, top 4 guys, that's when skill set.
You got to have some skill.
Makes a huge difference.
I think the fight was not a good idea with Lamas.
No.
I think Knight should have had a way better game plan. And, like, I get it, dude. You go out there, you're swinging, everybody loves it. But when you're getting literally knocked out on your feet, like 4 times, 5 times before the ref breaks it up, and you're sitting there cross-eyed, like, where the hell am I? That not the right approach for him, and people like him, so it's tough.
I also think that... yeah, and I also think, you know, he trains in Mississippi. He's probably the best guy in his gym.
Yeah.
And that could be a curse. A guy like Jason Knight goes to a top team, goes to a Jackson's. He gets with guys who are better strikers than him.
Well, you gotta expand your horizons. I mean, if you're the best guy in the gym for more than 6 months, something's wrong.
Who's the best guy at your gym?
Fucking I'd say it's a chick right now.
Who?
Honestly, Alima Leigh McFarland. I mean, Liz Carmouche. We got Weil Watson, Alex Soto. I mean, you just keep going down the list at 10th Planet. It's crazy. Like, there is no best. You know, Alima Leigh is on a fucking murdering path right now. So, I mean, and she'll throw down with any guy in the gym. So we have a lot of really good people.
How's Liz Carmouche doing?
She's doing really good, man. There's some big shit on the horizon for her. So I'm not at any liberty to say. Number 1, she's my employer. Number 2, she's my teammate, and I can't say anything against her.
I'll tell you who looked good, though. That girl that Kai Lin fought, that was a pretty close
fight.
Alexander
Albu.
Yeah,
Alexander Albu.
Yeah.
That girl is so tiny.
But muscular.
Yeah.
Her legs.
It was scary.
Just she's like 5'3" or something.
Of pure muscle.
But just...
Imagine her on top of you.
Oh, God.
I mean, have you ever had a muscle chick like that?
No.
Really? Why? You go for mostly bigger women? Like, what?
What do you mean bigger women?
No, I'm saying like...
It's like it's a stereotype. The black dudes are like fat white girls.
Kind of, yeah, no, but not all of them. But how come you can't? How can you go for muscle chicks?
Huh?
You never had a muscle girl like that?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe it. All right, fine. Wait, wasn't your ex-wife a bodybuilder or something? Or
No.
it's just,
Oh my God.
she was just angry.
Not even close.
Oh, okay.
She was
She owned a
angry.
newsstand.
Have you ever had a muscle chick?
No. You know, my girl, my fiance right now, she trains Muay Thai and shit. So and she used to train at El Nino. Now she trains at our gym. But
Did you get any military puss when you were there?
no, I got blown up and I was a virgin. Hadn't even had sex yet when I first got my first Purple Heart. Wasn't even able to vote or buy a lottery
You do the
ticket.
whole "I'm going to war tomorrow. Please have sex with me tonight" thing at a bar or something.
Bro, I was 17. I couldn't even get in a
Get a
bar.
Purple Heart and blue balls. That's terrible.
Right?
Really?
Yeah, man.
Oh man. So you had no. I mean, were there any hot? You were a Marine.
Yeah, Marine.
There were no hot female Marines.
I was in infantry, man. You don't see any women. The last woman I saw before we invaded the country was on a flight. She was some army girl, and that was the last woman I saw until other than Iraqi women, which are all covered up and they look like they're wearing shower curtains.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't see a woman until after I got hurt in the field hospital,
Damn.
and she was like 45.
You almost died a virgin.
Shit, yeah, man.
Damn.
If you think about it.
That's crazy.
I never put that in my head. Thanks, Adam.
No problem, man. All right. So I'll tell you one thing though. These girls, yeah, exactly. You got to stop going for the head and arm. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh man, every single fight.
every fight,
every move, head and arm.
and to me that screams like not amateur, but like what coach?
Yeah.
As a middle school wrestling coach, I don't teach my kids the head and arm.
No.
In wrestling, I teach it to them how to defend it, but I'm like, only do this when you're up 14-0 or you're down 14-0, and you need a Hail Mary. And then I go, then you gotta do not open with the head and arm because they'll go for it every time. And these girls, they keep doing it.
Yeah.
What? Eve, talk to me. Why?
Because for a lot of the women, not all of them, like the best women, Claudia Gadelia, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, Andrade, those women, Cyborg, that's not a part of their game. But for a lot of the rest of them, they're still in the 90s. Like men's MMA.
So is Gabby's last opponent. She's actually in it literally at 95 years old. All right, go on.
No, she no contested somebody else last week.
All right,
Yeah.
go on.
Almost ruptured her eyeball.
But the skill set. I mean, the skill set is very far behind.
But their coaches aren't telling them to do this.
No, they're not. But they don't have the instincts just yet. I mean, they haven't done it for as long. They haven't done it enough. Like the women that are at the top of the division, those women have been they've been in fighting and in real fight sports for a long time. I mean, Jędrzejczyk and Kowalkiewicz, they've been fighting at a high level Muay Thai for a long time. Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, they've been doing that at a high level for a long time. A lot of the other women, they're just now they're just recently.
But if you're opening yourself up to a rear naked choke.
So much. You're opening yourself up to so much. You can get, you even hit the throw, and then so what? Then what happens? That's the most easily reversed position that I can imagine.
In middle school wrestling, it is. I can't imagine fighting where anything goes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're slippery and everything else.
By the way, I got to give a shout out to my boy. So this kid came to my show in Vegas. Nice guy. This guy, Juan Marquez, right? He comes in. He's like, "Hey, I got a show in Vegas." He came. Then I go to Kansas City. He's like, "I'm bringing 15 people." I'm like, great. So he brings his mom, I think his grandma, all his friends. This guy was like the most happy-go-lucky guy. And it was the same show that Tim Kennedy was there. And I was like, Tim Kennedy's here. And then some other guy who I think he's a fighter. I don't know. He fights at Curves. I was giving him a hard time. Meanwhile, then I said, watch this fight in LFA. He wins in LFA like in 30 seconds, right? Then he's like, hey, I'm on the Contender Series. Julian Marquez, his name. Then he goes, I'm like, oh, good luck. He fought last night in the main event against John Jones's boy, John Jones's training partner, and they brought this guy. This guy looked like he was a Greek god, and he was beating up Julian in the first round. And in the second round, Julian came back and head kicked this kid into oblivion.
Yeah.
It was like that Mark Coleman when Coleman got head kicked.
Yeah.
Pete Williams.
Pete Williams.
Pete Williams.
By my teammate Pete.
It was pretty much the same type of thing.
Yep.
So shout out. They brought him in to lose. And Julian Marquez, I love it when people shock the world.
Yeah.
Dana said he got the nastiest knockout he's ever seen.
Yeah, no, this dude, I love this kid. And he's a nice, humble. You would never know that this dude is a trained killer. And so shout out to him, man. Good job.
Do you like this better than the looking for a fight, or like? I know it's cool. You have fights on Tuesday nights. You get a 5-fight. You know some of the guys. Is this better than a looking for a fight?
I like it better than for a couple reasons. Number one, as much as I like Matt Serra and Dana and Dean, like it just like I rather if I want to watch fighting, I just want to watch fighting.
I just mean to get into the UFC instead of having them watch you. Like they actually hold an event.
But also looking for a fight, like the highlights. They show the highlights of the fights versus like
this
the whole
one. They
fights.
show the whole thing.
But there are things I like about it a lot. The Contender Series, I like it because you're giving guys a second chance, a third chance. Mm-hmm. RFA guys, LFA guys,
former tough
guys. You're giving these guys a chance. You're also fighting in a real situation in Vegas, even though it's not the biggest. It's still there. I like Tuesday nights. I like that they gave Yves a job. He's the best commentator out there, honestly. Like the best commentator. You even made that guy look good, who you were working with, who didn't know Sakaraba's name. You even made that guy look good.
Oh, snap.
That's how good you were. And I even like the Snoop Dogg commentary, which I didn't think I would like. After he grew on me because
everybody's talking about this.
He's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
he's so ridiculous. It's actually funny.
He actually grew on a lot of people.
Here's what I don't like because you know what? He doesn't pretend to know anything. He doesn't. He actually. Man, now what's he doing? They're like, oh man, you can choke people out with your legs. Like he's saying things like, damn, like man, that fool's about to get smoked. Like while he's going to sleep, he's like, rockabye baby. It's fucking like it is funny. I gotta say, it is funny. Here's what I don't like about the Contender Series, is they're awarding people bonuses for getting into the UFC based on who performed best that night. But if you're up against a tough guy, you're fucked. Yeah. And like, let's say I'm a really good fighter and I'm up against kind of a scrub. No one's a scrub at that level, but let me just say scrub. Yeah, I knocked the guy out in 10 seconds. I look like a world beater. Versus two really tough guys, They're not giving the tough guys the shot. They're giving the guy who knocked out the bum. Yeah. So that's where I do think it's a little bit unfair because there are guys that I think deserve it based on level of opposition versus how good their knockout is.
I think there's a lot of different things that play into who gets a contract, though. The fight itself, the entertainment factor of the fight, the weight class that you're fighting in and then coming into. Like, when you think about it, at 155 pounds, how much does the UFC really need at 155 pounds versus at light heavyweight? You look at the top 15 at light heavyweight, and I don't know if anybody besides what's the kid the kid that just knocked out Manoa,
Volkan.
Besides Volkan, who's below 30 years old. You know what I mean? A lot of the top 15.
Shogun's still ranked number
exactly
7 or 8.
And we're running that back, which was a terrible decision.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of guys at that weight class are over 30. And the top ranked guys in that weight class are over 30. I like it because it gives guys an opportunity to be seen right there in front of the guys that do make those decisions.
Yes. That does bother me also that Dana White does not show up to the fights. And I love Dana, and he gave me the tickets, so it's awesome. But it would actually bother me if I was like, in the UFC, and you finally get to the big show, and you're on the fight prelims, and then Dana strolls in later, and you're like, oh, fuck, man, like that was kind of a big moment for me.
Yeah, I don't know how many people really pay attention to if Dana's sitting there when they're fighting or not.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
he watches it.
I'm sure there are people.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are people who do care, and then there's some guys who don't. It's and that's an individual thing, but once you're there, you're there. It doesn't matter if he sees you this time or next time. The first order of business.
But he doesn't decide. Like, doesn't he decide the fight of the night and the bonus?
Yeah, but he gets input from Sean and Mick and whoever else. Is there to give him input?
They did the same thing with WWE back in the day. Like, Vince didn't go anywhere. It was Jim Ross. He sent everywhere. He was the head of talent relations. He showed up. He said, Vince, we got to get this guy. he got him. So Dana not there. Somebody's watching it. Somebody's giving them the information, and these are qualified.
Yeah, but when you're
individuals.
there,
But when you're there and you're fighting, and it's Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, if you're Julian Marquez or Jason Jackson, whoever was on the card, yeah, you want to see Dana there. But I'm sure they know at the end of the day, if they put on a good performance, somebody will recognize it and see it.
And somebody's going to give their name.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, you got Eve there watching.
How many times have we talked to people on this podcast where I'm like, "Hey, congrats on the knockout. Yeah, it would be nice to get the bonus."
Well, that's unfortunate because there's 12 fights on a card. It's if you're the first fight out, you get a 6-second knockout, and you did a spinning 1080 wheel kick. You know, yeah, you'll get the bonus, but then you got to compete with the next 22 people that
you
are
might
fighting.
not get the bonus though.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to compete with all the guys after.
Have you ever
It
got
sucks.
how many bonuses have you got in your career?
I don't remember. A few, not like a lot, like a shit ton or something to be proud of, but a couple.
I'll check count.
The only
Nothing
one I
to be
can
proud
think
of. You were in the fucking UFC getting a bonus.
Yeah.
Fights. Oh,
When
only
I say
considered
I'm
a
talking about
legend.
numbers. I'm talking
my
about
art
numbers.
project made the third grade. Fucking, I'm still proud of it. It made the middle school when I was in third grade in the wall.
I like it's one of those things. Those bonuses, man. That's cool and that's fine and that's dandy. But I'm not a big fan of the bonuses. I'm like, pay dudes so that they don't need bonuses.
Right.
You know what I mean?
no, you're
That's
absolutely
just my opinion.
It's probably the only sport that had bonuses, actually.
Eve has 4 bonuses.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, but a lot of my fights were before they even had that. Before bonuses were even a thing.
Yeah, they were in the 20s when you were fighting in those boxing, bare knuckle boxing fights.
Yeah.
You versus John L. Sullivan and
You got fight of the night in 2006 against Joe Stevenson.
Yeah. See.
And that was like the first one. And then you got fight of the night and submission of the night against Cody McKenzie at the Fight for the Troops. And
Cody McKenzie, right? When you go into that fight,
And then Jeremy
and then you know
Stevens.
Cody
Yeah, the
McKenzie
knockout.
has that guillotine. Was it? I mean, how much did you train for that? As far as sitting out of that guillotine?
I didn't. I don't shoot. I had no reason to shoot on him because his striking was not something that I was concerned about. So I wasn't worried about guillotines from Cody McKenzie, not at all. He was long though. That was uncomfortable. It took me a little bit longer than I expected to get him off of my back.
Was he talking smack to you at all?
No.
Joe Stevenson, was the crowd all his kids? Like if you look in the crowd and like it's just like his children everywhere. That didn't happen.
And his coke dealer.
Yeah, no. I didn't know. Yeah, no. He tricked me though. That's how he cut me, man. He reached back he looked back, and I kind of relaxed for a second. I'm thinking something else, and then he came over the top of that elbow, and that's when he cut me. And as soon as he hit
He
me,
didn't
I was
trick you.
like-
That's like a move. He wouldn't say, "Hey,
Look over here.
Okay, when
Here's the keys.
when you go. And hit me with an elbow, and I'm not he tricked
Right, right, okay,
me. He
that-
tricked me.
But he wasn't like,
no,
hey,
it wasn't
like
a
your
cheap
flies
shot.
open or
No,
something.
it wasn't
Yeah,
a cheap shot. It was a planned distraction. That was a great choice by him. I wasn't saying, oh, he's an asshole. No, that's
Yeah.
fucking
Hey,
good
look,
job.
your shoe's untied.
Exactly, that's what he did, and I fell for it. That's what I mean.
There was this kid on my wrestling team who was like awful, and he was like, there was another kid who was wrestling, and the guy goes, "Hey, listen, this is my first match. Go easy on me." And that guy was like third in the state and just murdered my friend. I felt so bad for him because we thought he was finally gonna get a win.
I thought you were going to tell me somebody was like, hey, your wrestling shoe's untied, and then just get a double leg.
Oh no! There was like cheap stuff people did, but not like. I mean, there was like checking the oil, which was like taking your hand and putting it in the guy's ass crack and getting behind.
Oh,
that
do
way.
the thumb and go bowling.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you can go bowling. Just stick your thumb right in their ass while you fucking. Oh
This is
yeah.
his signature move.
Don't worry,
How many
bro.
times have you went bowling?
A few times in wrestling growing up. That was our coach's thing. Like if a guy ever
Did
started
you wrestle
messing
in
with
high
you-
school?
Yeah, high school and middle school.
Well, how
and
come when you went to
elementary.
teach my kids, you didn't teach them one move?
But you didn't. You gave me about 3 seconds to show them anything.
Oh,
you were like, go. I'm like, I didn't know I was teaching. And then you're like, all right, and we're moving.
That's
I was
because
like,
you were throwing in guillotines and like rear naked chokes and stuff. You're like, I haven't done this in a while. All right, so this Saturday, you're working the Fox telecast?
I am.
So this Saturday, Anthony Pettis versus Moreno.
Sergio Pettis.
Sergio.
Pettis.
Yeah.
Sergio
I
Pettis.
call Anthony Sergio one time, and he was pissed.
Really?
Yeah, he just made weight or something. He
Oh,
looked tiny.
he needs to go
This
over.
is just a weird card.
Brandon
sparred
Moreno.
Sergio. He's crazy.
Brandon Moreno, man, that guy. You can't really. Yeah.
He's like the Jason Knight of the flyweights. He's just ridiculously entertaining no matter what he's doing.
Not only that, but he beat. By the way, Louis Smolka the other day was like, "Hey, I go. Anybody want me to roast them?" And he's like, "Well, can I roast you back?" And I was like, "Sure, my stand-up can't be any worse than yours." And and then he goes, and then Smoke was like, "Hey, well, your last 3 shows, the crowd fell asleep." I'm like, "Well, at least I finished my last 3 shows because he actually lost 3 in a row." Then I felt bad. I was getting too personal. My man Moreno beat Smolka, beat Ryan Benoit, and beat Dustin Ortiz. 3-fight winning streak against Sergio Pettis. I'm going with Moreno. You?
Man, honestly, I don't know how to pick that fight because here's where I'm looking at. Sergio Pettis, he's really good with his footwork on the outside, sharpshooting people. But he has this tendency to get complacent where he will grapple with you even though he's being successful in the striking department. And if he does that with Brandon Moreno, then he's going to run. I believe he's going to run into some real problems because Moreno's jiu-jitsu is really, really good. I think he can win from the outside with his footwork and sharpshooting, but we'll see how that plays out, man. Moreno has this tendency of following people around and not necessarily cutting off the cage. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
CB?
I got Moreno. One of the big things that I noticed, this fight is in Mexico City, so the altitude is definitely there.
Yeah.
Sergio Pettis trains in Milwaukee at Rufus Sport. Brandon Moreno trains out of Mexico. So he's already getting ready for this. He's super scrappy. I think he's ready for 5 rounds. But I think he can finish Sergio Pettis inside of 3. I think the elevation will be a big deal for Sergio, and I think Brandon will just keep coming.
I agree. I think the elevation,
Pettis has 2 losses.
He lost to Ryan Benoit, who Brandon Moreno just beat in December.
But that's MMA math. It doesn't work. But
breaks off him.
Aside from Bruce Leroy, he's never been finished. Oh, he's been finished by Benoit, right?
The thing about that is with that altitude too, and that tendency that he has. I mean, who was Pettis' last opponent?
Sergio Pettis just beat. I'll get it. John Moraga.
Yeah, so against Moraga, he won the first 2 rounds, and in the 3rd round, he was on the bottom. They got into these grappling exchanges, and he was on the bottom for quite some time. He lost the 3rd round because he decided he wanted to get into this grappling match. I think against a guy like Brandon Moreno, that's going to cause him some problems. And with them being at altitude, there's times when you start to get tired, he's just going to I believe that he will not necessarily fight his fight. He will accept the other guy's fight. Yeah.
I'm going to have to be the oddball and go with Sergio just because of Wisconsin.
Why?
Because that's where I'm from.
You're from Wisconsin?
Hell yeah. Gerald Mershart was my first ever pro fight. And
Who won?
I fought him when he was 16 years old in Chicago, Illinois.
Who won?
He did. He knocked the fucking bull. Dude, he beat the shit out of me.
And come by it so honestly.
Dude, Gerald Mershart's a G, but no,
like
they had people didn't think I was gonna get out of the first round. Is how bad he was beating my ass, and I made it into the 2nd round. I actually took his ass down, and then he just head kicked me into.
I gotta ask you, some of your wins, right?
Yeah.
This promotion should not be legal.
Is this Explode?
Oh, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, you fought in an Explode combat series where they were picking homeless people, right?
I watched a guy that just won a very high, really good fight. Not to mention any names or Herman Torado, but he fought a man that was maybe 40 pounds lighter than he was at Explode one time. 40 pounds lighter, was smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer in the parking lot with his child in his hands. Didn't even have a cup. His teammates, quote unquote, had to bring him a cup to the cage, slide it in his...
It was an actual cup you could drink out of.
No. But slide it in his shorts, his basketball shorts and his drawers, go in and fight Herman Torado.
Wow, who's a monster?
Wait, basketball shorts? Are we talking about Cody McKenzie?
No, so, I mean, so did anyone say, like, look, we can someone might die here, this shouldn't be legal?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, shoosh. You watch some kids, and you watch some people, some people thought, hey, maybe we should turn somebody in, and they actually went out and tried to become legal and get commissioned, and they found a commission to commission them. And then finally the tribal gaming community was like, all right, guys, there's going to be death. And I think the whole thing was after the Alima Leigh McFarland soccer mom punch heard around the world that really brought light, and then everybody just shut it down.
And it was on Indian reservation?
It was on Indian reservation on in somebody's backyard. Where, no bullshit, I still have a picture on my computer, a bunny rabbit chained with 3/4-inch chain, dead, rotting at the front door, and you had to walk past that to get into this thing.
Wow.
They called it the chicken coop. Yeah.
Wow. So some of your wins were in that series.
Yeah, there was 3 of them in there.
Sounds
that
really official.
Yeah, but you got to look at there was a really awkward ass win, yes, but then I did fight a 5-round fight in that against Jason McNuck, who was legit. Fought him 5-minute rounds, took his belt from him, and he at the time was 12-3. Not fighting in there, he was fighting for King of the Cage.
That's why when I first met you, I was a little bit skeptical on some of how good you were, because I was like, well, his opponents have a combined record of 0 and 720.
No, there wasn't. Come on now.
But then
719.
But then when I saw your fights, and especially your last fight, I'm like, all right, he's legitimately a good fighter.
Yeah, no, I mean, they always say you don't know how good somebody is, and then they make the big show. I've took Mike Corey, number 15 featherweight in the world on a 2-week notice. Got fucking fucked up, and then I took Jeremy, in World Series at the time at Madison Square Garden, and I ran him,
Right, so what's your record in the World Series?
World Series is 1-1 right now, and then obviously the contract ended on that day because World Series folded, the name folded.
Were you on the same car where the brothers fought?
Brothers.
The 2 brothers fought each other?
Oh, no, God, no.
Brothers.
God, no, I wasn't on there.
Phoenix Jones and Carlos Fodor?
No, thank God I wasn't on that card. No, I wasn't on that card. But, now being a free agent, I definitely have my feelers out. I wouldn't mind Bellator. I've been talking with King Mo regarding all that stuff. King Mo knows who I am. Him and I hung out at WrestleMania and everything. So
that's what I was saying. World Series, they didn't promote themselves right. Because at one point I was watching the fight, and there was a guy, first it was Nick Newell, so a guy had one arm, was winning. And then Matt Hamill, there was a deaf guy on next. Yeah. And then there was 2 brothers fighting each other. Yeah. I'm this really this.
Dave Huckabaugh fighting his boss.
Yeah.
Dave Huckabaugh's fighting
in Ontario.
They're really dropping the ball. They got to market this as ridiculous fights.
Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
For real.
The first few events were awesome. They had Arlovsky, they had Rumble, they had these guys.
I was on WSOF 9. 4+ years ago, and that show was bitching, and then all of a sudden it just completely went wrong.
And their globalization, WSF Canada with Rest in Peace, but Tim Hague main eventing, you're like, this dude got knocked out.
By the way, poor Matt
seconds.
Hamill, because Vinny Magalish tweeted out, all right, now it's time for the rematch with Hamill and Jones. And then Hamill responded going, they told me to get a couple more wins, and then I can come back. I'm like, dude, come on, man!
See, Mazzagatti
next week.
Mazzagatti's gonna be the.
Come on, someone's got to tell him it was a joke, right?
Oh man.
No.
Yeah, but then you think back to Ultimate Fighter, and Tito's like, "Yeah, you're not fighting. They didn't clear you," and he's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
No, I'm fighting. So maybe he thinks I'm back in the UFC. I beat John Jones.
Hamill has overcome all the odds in the world. And I remember watching him wrestle in college. He was amazing, and he was a great fighter. He beat Tito.
He was a great fighter.
But
arguably he beat Bisping.
But no one's really clamoring for the rematch.
Have you ever seen that meme yet?
Of what?
Of Matt Hamill's face, and it says, "I still have the only win over that asshole."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's horrible. I couldn't even read.
By the way, I couldn't retweet. People were doing the crying Cormier win. And
there's no way.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
That's a shit move.
But so was Rogan interviewing him. That was unnecessary.
But that wasn't Rogan's fault.
No. I'm not saying it is at all. But even he said after, I feel like such an asshole. It's
he feels like I stabbed him in the back.
Didn't we stop doing this back when Overeem said Stipe tapped?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Or the one where Cyborg's face is on the poster of the wrestler. Her face over Mickey Rourke's, and it still looks like Mickey Rourke, kind of.
All right, Randa Marcos versus Alexa Grasso.
It's an awesome fight.
That's it, yeah.
Grasso lost to Felice. Felice looked really good.
Yeah, she did, but Grasso didn't look that good in that fight. She didn't look like herself. She didn't fight like she fights. She didn't throw combos like she usually does.
And Marcos beat Carla.
I didn't think so.
Me neither, but they gave her the win. So are we picking Grasso in this fight?
I picked Grasso in this
Yeah,
fight. I think she got the UFC jitters. They didn't hit her until the second time. She had a bigger name in front of her, and she was in the co-main event.
Does that happen sometimes? The second time you got jitters versus the first time?
Yeah. It's a different beast, man. You're in the UFC, and the first time you're there, there's times when it's like it looked to me the first time she was in there, she was really excited, and yeah, you can be super excited, and because of that excitement, the weight doesn't really hit you. But then the second time you're in there, and now she's fighting a bigger name, and,
Co-main event,
and in the co-main event, and she looked really, really tentative. She didn't throw combinations like she's used to. She didn't fight the way I've seen her fight in Invicta. She wasn't as aggressive, and I think that cost her. I think now, though, she'll be settled down. She's in the same environment, and the name, again, is not as big. I don't think Randa Marcos has the same name as Felice Herrig.
No.
Plus, it's in Mexico again, and Grasso trains in Mexico. Randa's out of Canada.
But Randa's been on our show. I'm rooting for Randa. So, Alan Juban versus Nico Price.
I really don't like this fight.
Have you trained with Nico?
I have not trained with Nico, but I've watched Nico train.
He looks like, this guy looks like every villain in like Die Hard. He just looks like a guy that you just want to punch in the face.
Nico's he's a happy dude, man.
He walks. Really?
He's last time I saw him, the very last time I saw Nico, he was getting tested by USADA.
Oh really?
Yeah, he failed. That's why which I don't understand. His last fight was February, and it got changed to a no contest, tested positive for marijuana. How are you fighting inside a year? They only give him like 6 months, and that was it?
Your first one's not a year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, so he's 9-0. He used to be a landscaper and a pressure washing business. Amateur record of 9-0.
And that kid, he beat Alex Morano. He's tough,
knocked him
man.
out.
I know Alex. I've trained with Alex I've known Alex since he was like 16.
Wow.
And
you sub Brandon Thatch too.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone saw Brandon.
I know. I was gonna say.
Shane's daughter did, and she's 3. Right? You?
Right.
By the way, Shane has the cutest daughter ever, and she went to Disney World today. Am I right?
Say hi.
Disneyland.
Yeah. She met. Who did you meet? The 2 guys.
Oh, Lightning McQueen and Maynard.
Yeah. You met Lightning McQueen?
Very talkative. All right, so now, so I'm picking Allen. Obviously, I think this kid, Allen's is too damn tough. I think the thing that you can't teach is heart. Allen's got the heart, and I ran into him the other day. He said he feels like a kid again. He feels
his foot.
He's hungry. His foot's great. I'm picking Allen. You?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I like Nico. I like Allen also. I haven't trained with Nico, but I've watched him train, and he's tough. He's smart too. He's a lot smarter than you would expect from the way he fights. But I'm gonna go against you, and I'm gonna go with Nico in this.
Ooh, I'm going Allen, 10th Planet. Come on now.
Yeah. I'm going Allen, but I'm worried about this fight. Nico's a real tough dude, heavy hands, but I'm going with Allen. I can't go against Allen.
All right, Sam Alvey, Rashad Evans. This fight right here.
Another heartbreaker.
Look, Rashad Evans is a close and personal friend. If he can't beat Sam Alvey, it might be time. Which, in this fight, man, this is just how fucking weird the sport is. If you would have told me 5 years ago, Rashad Evans versus Sam Alvey, I'd be like, first of all, he's gonna get murdered. Sam Alvey's not gonna be able to. Sam Alvey couldn't make it into the Ultimate Fighter.
I would ask you who your dealer was.
Yeah, who my dealer was.
Rashad was a 205er.
I was knocking out Chuck Liddell and was knocking out Forrest Griffin, and Rashad Evans is just a monster.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I don't know if it's a tortoise in the hair, but it just seems like when you lose a step, sometimes you lose 2 steps and 3 steps to 4 steps. But Rashad's focused. He's in great shape.
He's training up there with Mark Henry and Almeida and those dudes.
Yeah, and I think that also was a bigger distraction because as the head of the Black Zillions, he had to be the businessman, the team captain, worry about everybody else, Anthony Johnson's training partner, yada yada. So I'm picking Rashad in this one, but I really hope he doesn't get caught by one of the Sams. Sam Alvey is such a frustrating guy because he's so ugly. He fights so ugly and boring, but effective.
Welcome to Team Quest. You gotta give them guys. They play the game perfectly. you know, and they come out and they grind. And Sam's a great guy. I have to go with Sam on that fight, but you know, unfortunately, because I love Rashad, you know, but I have to pick Sam on that fight.
Is this because you're racist?
I am not. I am far from racist. I'm sitting right next to a black guy. Hello.
Yeah, okay.
But no.
He's got one black friend.
Yeah, I got a black friend and a black microphone. Come on.
Of course.
But anyways, you know, Sam. The way Sam comes out, he's so unorthodox. Like you can't really read that guy. And you know, I think Rashad. I mean, I'd hate. I am not one to tell anybody your career's good and over, but you had a damn good run. But it's. I hope he wins. I hope he pulls it out. But I like where Sam's going in this sport now.
Yves?
I want Rashad to win this fight. So I'm picking Rashad to win this fight. I think Sam is tough. He can do everything. And if Rashad does not show up with the mentality of he's willing to get into exchanges, he's going to lose this fight. But I want him to win. So I'm picking him.
Yeah, I mean, Rashad lost to that old guy, Dan, whatever his name is.
Kelly.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Dan Kelly.
You know, didn't Dan just get wrecked recently? Or who'd Dan fight? Didn't Dan fight Brunson?
I thought Dan just fought Rashad.
Did he fight after
Did
that?
he have another fight since? I don't know.
Didn't he fight Derek Brunson?
Let's see.
Yeah, he did fight Derek Brunson.
And
but I don't know
Brunson
if that was
killed him, right?
before. Yeah.
Yeah,
he got
yeah.
knocked out in the first
Yeah, yeah.
in New Zealand.
Right, and it was almost like Brunson felt bad doing it.
It's like beating up your grandpa.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then the other guys, I don't know who Perez,
Alejandro Perez and Andre Sukmanato.
Who are these
I think
guys?
his name.
Turbo versus
Perez was from the tough Latino tough season.
The Latin.
Yeah. And this Andre Sukom I think he's had one in the UFC. Yeah, he's had one. He lost a split to Albert Morales at UFC 209.
And then do we know? Is there any other fights aside from Dustin Ortiz, Hector Sandoval? I mean, look, I'm not saying these fights are not going to be
The
exciting.
Hani Yaya fight is actually not bad.
Yeah.
The Henry Briones Hani Yaya fight could be very
Yeah.
good.
Ronnie always comes out.
Didn't he lose his last fight to that dude from Long Island?
Yeah.
Real tough jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
player.
No, he lost to
lost to Joe
Soto.
Soto in
Yeah.
Brazil.
Yep.
Right.
It's a weird card.
It's
definitely a weird
also
card.
a big come down from last week too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're coming off a monstrous card.
Yeah.
Trying to follow
And
it
then
up.
after this, I don't think there's a fight for like 3 weeks or something.
Well, the Mayweather McGregor fight. I'm so happy
No,
though.
I'm talking
that-
about UFC.
Yeah, I'm so happy that the good thing about this though is that it took the pressure off. I don't have to hear about Mayweather McGregor for a couple days.
I'm tired of hearing about it.
I'm so sick of that. I want to.
You're tired of
I'm
hearing
tired of
Mayweather
hearing about
Where's
it.
Triple G?
Dude,
Let's
I
go.
tell people all the time, like, I stopped wearing Connor shirts in public because everywhere I go, somebody's like, "You really think he has a fucking chance? Can you just bag my groceries so I can get the
You know
fuck
he's gonna
out of
lose,
here?"
right? Though, right?
Whatever.
You think he's gonna win in boxing
I
against
think
Mayweather?
he's gonna win.
How?
Capoeira stance gonna fuck with Floyd and just.
You want to make a?
You know what,
Adam?
Look,
You want to make a bet on the
I'm-
They're
podcast?
not doing capoeira though.
It doesn't matter.
Adam, $100
Connor's coming
bet.
in with a capoeira
What?
stance.
$100 bet.
Oh, you think Connor's gonna win too?
I'll take $100 on Connor.
$100.
Bam! There it is.
Do you think that you are blinded by bias?
Yeah.
Blinded.
Are you
But,
racist?
But I'm also
No,
it's also I'm not going into this like when he was fighting Eddie or he was fighting Nate. This is a completely different animal. I'm not sitting here going, he's definitely going to beat the shit out of him. Do I think Connor can win? Yes. Do I want Connor to win?
No, do you think he's
Fuck
going to
yeah.
win?
Wait.
I think he can win.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
he
you-
is.
it's not
I
when he can
think on
win.
Saturday, August 26th, at the end of the night, Conor McGregor's hand will be raised.
Why
but
do you
I
think
am
he can
not
win?
walking around like, fuck Floyd, fuck this, fuck that, Conor this.
All right, answer the question.
CB, why do you think he can win?
I just think he can win. I think he's a
Yeah, but
guy
why?
that I think he has just the I can't say boxing experience. He hits hard. He's coming in with something that Floyd has never seen before. He's never fought an MMA fighter. I just think he brings
he's
something
still fighting with
different
He's
to
never
the
fought a golfer
table.
either, but there's a
no,
reason
I
for
know
that.
that. Look, again, I'm not sitting here delusional like Connor's
You
gonna
are
fucking-
delusional.
No,
You said he's gonna get his hand raised.
No, there's a difference.
He is gonna get his hand
At
raised.
the other ones, I'm like, if Connor fucking loses, I'm not talking to anybody. Like, I expect Connor to lose.
You just said he's gonna win.
Do I want him to win?
No, you said
Yes.
he's going to
Yeah,
win.
I know, but I'm also not delusional to the point of like, there's no fucking way Floyd can beat him. Floyd has every way to beat him.
All right, so
At the
stop
end of the
talking.
day-
Okay, you're
just-
talking too much.
I just
All
want my
right?
$100.
Okay.
You asked me a question.
You said I know, but you're not answering the question. Okay, like Yves said, how is he going to beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing?
I think
no
with
matter
the power.
what I answer to this, it's going to be
All right,
ridiculed.
in like
so why am I
in 3
saying-
sentences or less?
No, I don't think that there is a legitimate way that he can beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match, but I want to know how you legitimize that thought in your head.
I think he can knock him out.
And how do you think that can happen?
With a hammer.
Straight left hand.
Okay, so
Look, I could be wrong. This is all
you are, but let me see.
Until it happens, like
Hold on.
But here's the thing. So you believe that Conor McGregor can go in there and do what Floyd with Oscar De La Hoya, with Manny Pacquiao,
Zab Judah.
and Zab Judah, and Andre Ward,
Marcos Madonna.
and Madonna, and
I know
all
what I'm
of
saying.
these high-level boxers who've had hundreds of amateur and professional boxing fights combined, and they've not been able to do to Floyd Mayweather. Like, do you
because
really
I'm a Conor fan. What else am I supposed to do?
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
like Floyd.
now?
All right.
Now, Conor has this talent to get you out of your element and to talk so much smack to you that you want to fight out of passion and anger and whatnot. And the thing about that is, that's fine, and he's probably pissed off Floyd Mayweather in these press conferences and whatnot. But boxing, even though Floyd Mayweather is not the most learned individual, boxing is still a mathematical equation to him that he completely understands better than anybody that we've seen in this lifetime. It's boxing. It's throwing punches. It doesn't matter that Floyd Mayweather's never fought an MMA fighter. Conor McGregor has never fought a boxer, and he's fighting the best that we've seen in our generation.
So I'm delusional.
Do you think he could beat Jordan Burroughs in a wrestling match? Honestly,
No.
why not?
Because he has shown no wrestling fucking prowess, and that's coming from the world's biggest Conor fan, admitting that anybody can take him down.
He can't beat, but he's defended a takedown.
It's a little bit different.
Do you
It's a little
think
bit
that he
different
could
going
beat-
from MMA to boxing than it is like, MMA to wrestling when he has no wrestling background. He has boxed people. He's
never
kickboxed.
boxed anybody.
He's He has knocked people out with boxing. He knocked Eddie out with punches. He knocked
But he's
Aldo
never
out with a
boxed
punch.
in a boxing
No, I
match
know
once.
that. But when you go to train MMA, when you've trained MMA, it was boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu.
So
Has he boxed? No.
Explain that to you from that
I
perspective.
get it.
then.
I'm crazy.
Hold on, no.
I've
Let's hit a pro.
I've trained.
There is no pros
with-
or cons.
No, he's a pro.
I'm wrong.
I mean professional.
I've
pro.
trained with high level boxers. Like I train with Kenny Weldon, who was a trainer for Pernell Whitaker, Sergey Goliev, world champions. He was my boxing coach.
Sergey Kovalev?
Sergey Goliev.
Oh, not the Kovalev that's fighting
Kovalev.
right now.
Go on.
Yeah. He's been he was my main boxing coach. He was one of my main trainers in the prime of my career in the UFC. Anyway, when I get in there with boxers, with high level boxers, it's a different experience. I've trained with Kid Chocolate, Peter Quillen, a couple Victor Ortiz, a couple good guys over here at Wild Card. And when you get in there with a pure boxer in a pure boxing environment, it's very different than sparring with a good kickboxer or sparring with good mixed martial artists in the striking department of MMA. It's just a completely different thing where they're not concerned with leg kicks. They're not concerned with elbows or
Double legs.
clinch or takedowns or any of that. All they're concerned with is hands. And that's all that Floyd Mayweather's been doing since he was 4 years old.
No, I get it. And I get that I'm delusional in this.
But also, let's take into effect 27 and 40. You know what I mean? A guy, yes, you were best pound for pound 4 years ago. Where are you at right now?
He was still he'd never lost it. When he beat Andre Berto,
I think
9
Connor's going to be a
rounds to 3.
1-0 world champion. Let's go.
You think Connor's gonna win?
Hell yeah, I got a $100 bet with you.
You're an MMA fighter, and you think this? This guy's an idiot. Okay, you honestly think like that he's gonna?
I'm in it for the money. I have money in Vegas on it, so I'm all about the underdog.
has no budget. He needs $100.
How much money do you put on Conor McGregor?
Yeah, I'm not disclosing that amount.
More than 1,000?
Close.
Well, you don't like money.
1,000.
You don't like money.
Hey,
All right, and how much will you win? 7?
It's no, it's
put a grand down?
It's 100 to 1 right now.
No, it's not. It's 8 to 1.
When the odds first came out, it was 100 to 1 that Conor McGregor wouldn't finish him inside. Finish him.
So if you put a grand down, you could walk away with 100 grand.
Yep.
All right, it's not a
It's fucking not to.
That's not a terrible
it's a loss
bet.
of $1,000 if
like-
you lose,
Absolutely.
but like
That's the way you make that bet. You absolutely bet for the underdog.
Yeah.
But
And
That's the only reason why I'm
inside.
supporting
Do
him.
you think he's gonna win?
I'm just supporting him for money.
Have you trained with boxers?
Yeah.
And how does it go in boxing? How does
we
it
have
go?
Tiger Smalls, freaking Hall of Famer.
And how does it go?
Fucking sucks.
You get killed, right?
Well, not killed, but I mean, they can toy you up at leisure.
I mean, Jake Ellenberger, who hits probably as hard as Conor McGregor, told me when he was going to Glendale Fight Club with boxers, he was getting pieced up by boxers who you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
So
well,
now,
no, you get amateurs piecing up pro MMA fighters at our gym, and you're like, what the fuck?
in
Hitting
boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how
Dude,
Cyborg.
I know I could be wrong.
Look how
I get
Cyborg.
it.
Do you see how
That's
Cyborg?
why I've stopped talking about it.
Cyborg. Remember when Cyborg?
That's why I stopped
All right, look how
talking
good
about
Cyborg
it.
looks. Remember when she did her her kickboxing thing?
Yeah.
Against.
But she fought Jarena Bears.
yeah, he's fighting Floyd
No,
Mayweather.
but Jarena Bears had the height. That was a little bit different.
He's fighting.
Jarena Bears had height.
Okay, look how dominant
Look,
Cyborg
I know
is.
I'm wrong. That's why
Okay.
I've stopped talking about
You don't
it.
know you're
never
wrong.
know what
You're
would
not-
happen.
But you're still talking about it by saying she fought Jarena Bears.
So do you think Jarena Bears is better than Mayweather and what he's good
How do you
at?
think Conor McGregor would do against Oscar
But
De La Hoya?
Connor also has height on Floyd. That's the only thing I'm saying between Cyborg and Jarena is
So does Luke Walton. He's not beating fucking,
Walton sucks.
so did Shaquille
See, this is why I don't talk about it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Shaquille O'Neal had
I
a
could be
height
wrong,
advantage.
but until August 26th, we don't know shit.
Can we
Now-
not forget
No, we don't.
Floyd Mayweather
Okay,
versus
if-
the Big Show?
if McGregor wins, right? Let's say if he wins, maybe Mayweather sprains his ankle on the way in there or something, or I don't know. Who knows what happens? He gets Ebola. All right, okay. Let's say he wins. What tattoo are you gonna get?
For Connor?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you thought about this.
There's no tattoo in this one. The
Come-
stakes are higher.
Well, what
And
are
I'm
you?
not releasing the stakes till it's over.
What are the
stakes
Whoa.
are higher.
You chopping your dick off or what?
What are you gonna do? What could you possibly do with these stakes?
I guess you'll find out when Connor wins on August 26th.
Are you gonna become Irish? Are you gonna
No.
move to Ireland? What are you gonna
I
do?
am testing my DNA though to find out about
Gotta
my
eat
lineage.
potatoes, are ya?
Man, I
Who
can't.
the fuck is that guy?
Both of you. That was worse than his. Okay, listen. All right. What's your daughter's name?
Balin.
Balin. Balin.
Balin. Look at Mr. Adam.
Who do you think's gonna win, McGregor or Mayweather?
Just say Connor.
Floyd, right? Mayweather.
Your daddy says Connor.
Say black guy or white guy? Who?
A black guy or a white guy? Yeah, the black guy. Exactly.
Black guy.
3
God-
years old.
God
and she-
damn it.
Bubba's been
She's
coaching
against
her.
me.
Bubba's been coaching her. Have you been hanging out with Bubba Jenkins?
A 3-year-old knows the difference. All right, that's hilarious. That's good. Yeah, that's cool. Your daughter likes black guys. All right, listen. people.
Oh, man.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, listen, people. What do you got coming up? Anything coming up, Shane?
No, I'm a free agent. I want to fucking fight anybody. I'll fuck up Andre Harrison and then
Explode's looking for you.
Shit. Yeah, right. No, I'll fuck Andre Harrison up. I'll always call out my good old. You know who my super rival is.
Who's that?
You know his name.
Georgie? Georgie Karakanya?
No, I love that guy. All the shit he talks on Twitter is amazing. But he's a good dad. So props off
Shane
to him.
Kruchten,
But
you got a record of 12-3.
yep.
We're looking at you right now. You beat Jeremy Mahan, good fighter.
Jeremy Mahan.
Jeremy
Yeah.
Mahan, good
Tanya
fighter.
Avenger's boy.
Yep.
Before that, you fought a couple Explode guys.
Yep.
Uh,
Exploders.
There you go. All right, so you lost to Luke Zachrich.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter.
Yeah, I fought him at 205 pounds in a square cage.
Yeah, your first 2 fights were 2007 against 2 UFC
Murderers.
guys.
Yeah, both one at 205 and one at 185.
That's
and
crazy.
I was that was my coke binge, and I tried to kill myself.
Was that
Alright.
did that have anything to do with PTSD, or was that?
Oh no, it was all PTSD. Yeah. And then June 14th, 09, literally a flatline and tried to kill myself. And then a couple veterans yanked me back in. Joe Duarte, former Strike Force guy,
Yep.
pulled me back in the gym and said if I ever leave the gym, he's gonna whoop my ass. And I kept straight and narrow since, rattled off 11 wins in a row, and I've been at it ever since.
I like it. Well, listen, man. You've won. I don't know what 10 out of your last 11 fights.
Yeah. 12 of my last 13.
You're a very inspirational guy.
I mean, I'll fuck up anybody. I'm willing to fight in Bellator, friggin' PFL, UFC, last minute. Give me a call.
The second season of the Contenders.
You know?
Yeah, what about that? Would you do the Contenders?
Hell yeah, in a heartbeat. Yeah, I tried out for UFC twice on the Ultimate Fighter show. The second time I made it all the way to the interviews, and they told me I was too nice.
Who'd you roll with? Who'd you compete with?
It was the 155 season. There wasn't any.
Vince Pichel that season with Uriah and
yeah. And I got told I was too nice in the interviews, and that's why they didn't take me. But
how did you do against rolling? Or
I did well in my whole group. Yeah, I made it all the way to the interviews. I mean, I made it through rolling, and as Eve knows, you go rolling, and then you go striking, and then you go interviews if they accept you. Went up to interviews, and I wasn't even an alternate. It was weird. And then I got a phone call telling me I was too nice by the guys. So it is what it is. I talk shit, but I'm very humble about it, and I'm very nice about it. I'm a family man. But I would love to be on Contenders. I would. I mean, game on. You know what I mean? I'll fuck up anybody.
Maybe Eve can make a phone call for you.
Yeah. I'll fight the world. I'd fight my own mother if there's a paycheck behind it. You know what I mean?
That's very comforting. Okay, so what do you? All right, yeah, exactly. Don't fight mothers. All right, so
sorry,
what do you got coming up?
Nothing, man. I'm sitting here just trying to get a fight right now. I just got medically cleared to train, so I'm ready.
Are you working a full-time job or no?
No. I hang out at the gym and raise my daughter, and I work out every day.
Does the government give you a check?
Hell yeah, I get a check.
They should give you a check.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy like you should be taken care of for life.
Yeah. I wish.
I think guys like you should always be taken care of for life. You went over there and you...
Twice.
Yeah.
I do. I get a little stipend, but at the end of the day, it's not about the money. I have an amazing fiance that makes more than enough, and she's my little sugar mama. I got lucky as hell when I met her.
Latina, right?
She's Mexican and Filipino.
Whoa.
Yeah, but she'll fucking make you a good dinner and stab you in the back at the same time. But she's a great girl, and she takes care of it.
How Filipino is she? Does she give you when she gives you dinner, she gives you a fork and a spoon?
Oh no, she's not that Filipino.
Okay.
No, she's more Latino than anything.
Nice.
But no, and
she'll stab you, but then nurse you to safety.
Yeah, she's a fucking engineer, dude. So yeah,
there you go.
But she's cool, and wants me to be a dad. So she lets me go to the gym in the mornings and be a dad at night.
She have kids of her own?
She does not.
She's Mexican?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so Eve, what do you got coming up?
Working the Fox desk this weekend for the fights in Mexico City. Got
Nice.
2 more episodes of the Contenders for this season. I'm working on the 8th and the 22nd, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's fun to watch these young guys come out and put it on the line, man. And doing some more stunts.
Shut up. Shut up. You got stunts.
Yeah, doing some more stunts. I'm trying to get on a few more of these smaller TV shows. SWAT comes out November 2nd.
Smaller TV shows. You're on CBS primetime.
Well,
That's not small.
Yeah, no, I'm not. SWAT is not small.
No.
But I want to get on some of the smaller shows to try to work some acting, work some skills in that department. But yeah, I'm gonna keep working on some things. I want to work on. I'm gonna go and hustle some of the cool shows like Rush Hour and some of the fun things like that. But
any seminars coming up?
I don't have any seminars coming up, but I need to go back to Houston pretty soon, and I'm gonna set up some things there for when I do that. But I'm gonna be here in LA throughout the rest of the summer, and I'm not going back to Houston until October. So I'm definitely gonna be.
Well,
back
how was
here
Space
before.
Camp?
It was a lot of fun, man. Yvonne had a really good time. He was able to. He flew. What did he fly? He flew a 737 simulator thing.
Shit.
So yeah, he had a good time out there, man. We had fun. He yeah.
Were you the coolest parent? Because I would think Space Camp, all the the nerdy dads, and he's like, my dad was in the UFC.
Everybody else what's UFC?
Yeah, exactly. Right. We don't even talk about that stuff. He he doesn't care for fighting, and I love that about him. So he'll watch.
If they bully him, the dad's coming to school.
Oh, I've told him that before. I'm if you have any problems with any kids bullying you, and you don't feel comfortable enough to stand up for yourself, you let me know, because if I have to come there, I will fucking punch a kid in the face.
we'll get a highlight reel of all this of his Josh Thompson knockout. Be like, look what I did to this
Now,
guy.
has your son ever brought home a girl and you're like, she's too skinny? Bring another one back. It's bigger.
No, but
Jesus.
he has this thing now. He's already claimed that he has this thing for Asian girls. So,
Nice.
So that's his
Can't
thing.
hate on him.
Yeah. Wait, how old your son?
14.
Oh, your daughter's 3. Damn. All right. So I'm just saying it could be 10 more years.
Jared from Subway disagrees.
15 more years.
Oh,
All right,
Jesus Christ.
So yeah. All right. So we're gonna ignore that one.
friggin-
So he likes Asian girls.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Nothing wrong with Asian girls.
There's nothing wrong with them at all. There's nothing wrong with any girls.
I'll tell you what. I was coaching this little kid in wrestling, and I was like, I had this little black kid. I was like, hey, do you have a girlfriend? He's like, man, I'm done with black girls. I go, why? He goes, they have too much drama. The kid was like 11, so I didn't know what am I gonna say as a coach? I'm like, no, like black girls aren't drama. Like I didn't know what to say. I was like, I think you should give him a chance still.
You're
Is that
11.
the same kid that told you, I don't want no girl running my life?
That's what he said. Yeah, he goes, I don't need no girl. He goes, they're always into your shit. I'm like, dude, you were wise. I go, that's all girls, dude. That's not black girls. That's all girls. Even dude, my girl gets jealous if I like cuddle with my dog. She's like, are you mad at me? I'm like, what? She's like, you woke up the last 2 days. I woke up and you were not cuddling with me. You were cuddling with Miles, the dog. I'm like, well, he just came in my arms.
My girl tells me I love my dogs more than her too.
Yeah, you sleep with them, but I'm like literally no, but it is annoying though. Like
What?
when I'm do you have any pets?
No.
You have
Yeah,
pets?
3 dogs.
It's annoying, right? When you're having sex with your girl, do your dogs try to jump on the bed?
Fuck yeah.
And they know exactly when but not. Like the
Close
minute
the
you
door.
know.
Oh, and they're there.
The minute-
Oh no, they're
Because
sneaky.
you take them outside and they start whining. But they know exactly. I go off to bed, and he knows off to bed. He'll go off to bed. But then as soon as I nut, boom, and he tries to like lick my hand. Like no, not yet. Let me wash my hands first.
There's a thing about that, man. I'm not a big fan of pets because they're just children that never grow up.
Yeah.
Like Adam?
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, coming from the fighters, coming from the fight. Come on, we all have jobs. Well, 3 of the 4 of us have jobs here that we love doing. And if you love doing your job,
He's calling me out.
yeah,
I know.
You own a tattoo parlor now.
Yes,
correct?
I do.
Okay, if you love doing your job, you get to stay young. That's my philosophy on life. If you love what you do, you stay young. That's really it.
I love what I do.
You mean if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life?
Somebody said that. Somebody had a joke like, "Do what you love, and the money will follow." He's like, "So I've been jerking off all day for weeks, and I can't wait for those checks to come in." Anyway, so people, I'm at where am I at? I'm at the Comedy Store Thursday night, the Dime Bar Monday and Tuesday, San Diego Monday night, a place called Backyards. It's a bar called Backyards.
Save me 2.
Yeah, San Diego. I'll be in
I think you
Hollywood.
said send him 2 invites.
Oh, yes.
Comms.
Saturday, I'm going to Lady Gaga with the girl. We're going to see Lady Gaga.
This Saturday?
No, not
You
Saturday.
mean you're taking her
next
with you
week.
for it?
Oh.
It's her birthday. And then I'm going to China. I'm doing
Holy
the
Christ.
Shanghai Comedy Club. September 6th.
Are they even going to understand you?
No, they speak English. But September 6th, I'm in Linwood, Washington, Cliffhanger Sports Bar and Restaurant. Arlington at the Angel of the Winds Casino in Washington. A place called The Warehouse in Washington. And then Kashmir, Washington at Club Crow. And then in Cedar Rapids, September 15th and 16th. And Dubuque, Iowa, Diamond Joe Casino, November 13th. So, people want to follow you? How do they follow you?
War_Rhino on Instagram, Kruchten MMA on Twitter.
Are you a Trump supporter, by the way?
Fuck yeah, I am.
Really?
I was at his inauguration. I got engaged right in front of Trump and Mattis and the whole cabinet at the inaugural ball. So
Wow.
I sat next to Mayweather and Mark Sanchez at the inauguration when they swore in. So you're supporting a Trump supporter in Mayweather because he was there at the inauguration.
So
Tito showed up to the hotel the other day for the first time wearing a Trump Pence shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was pretty
But hey, at the end of the day, I wasn't the biggest Obama fan either, but I still supported him. He's my president. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But all the shit getting talked on either candidate. I mean, still fuck Hillary. But at the end of the day, yeah. Other than that, I'll give love and respect to everybody else. But Hillary's a murderer.
all right, thanks, Shane.
And on a lighter note, my birthday's on Sunday.
Is your birthday Sunday? Happy birthday, CB.
Slide it.
All right, thank
gonna
you
be
guys.
12.
Thank you guys so much. Take care, and thanks for listening to the podcast. Bye.
Later.
Okay, now we are going to interview the very talented and awesome King of the Cage champion, Nguyen. She's awesome. I can't wait to talk to her. Her nickname is the Crazy Asian. And let's see what she's got to say. I was like, I go, hey, how are you doing? And then you said, I go, what do you do for a thing? And you're like, nothing. I'm like, oh, are you a fighter? And then you said, no. But then it turns out you actually are a fighter, and a very good fighter. You fought in Rise-In, King of the Cage, everything else. How's everything going with you?
I'm doing really well. I'm about to fight again, not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Oh, nice. Who are you fighting against?
I am fighting a girl named Melissa Karakanakis. She's Canadian. I'm fighting in Niagara Falls, New York. Oh my God! I think this will be the first and the last time fighting in New York. They want an MRI. They want a CAT scan. They want a physical. They needed a pap smear for me. Like what does my vagina have to do with anything? It could take a pounding, but I don't understand why do I need to see a gynecologist for a fight? Well, this is ridiculous. It is totally ridiculous.
I completely understand. Well, kind of. But now your vagina can take a pounding. Let's get back to that. Can it really take a pounding? Have you taken lots of poundings? Please elaborate on that.
I was just joking.
Oh, damn.
MMA.
Of course. Now, but you are okay. There you go. So you're fighting in Niagara now. You fought in Rise-In and you won in Rise-In. Why? How come you're not fighting in Rise-In again?
That was this past New Year's. Crow Cop he won the tournament for the men's side. I don't know if you guys watched that whole card. It was a cool card. I got to meet Gabby Garcia, Crow Cop, just a lot of people. Roy Nelson was there. Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg was warming up with Gabby Garcia, and that is so funny to watch because Cyborg is so little compared to Gabby Garcia.
No, yeah, of course.
You know, we think Cyborg is huge, but like when she's warming up with Gabby Garcia, she's tiny.
No, absolutely. But I'm saying, but how come you didn't? How come you're not fighting with Rise-In again?
Oh, I am.
Okay, so you're still on so it's still open to fight with Rise. Like, what is this promotion you're fighting in Niagara Falls?
King of the Cage. I'm defending my belt.
Got it.
Now you got it.
Yes,
there you go.
yes. You're defending your belt. Now, what I like about you is I was looking at some of your fights. You started off as an amateur. You were 1-5 as an amateur, and now you're 5-3 as a pro.
No, I was actually 7-11 or 7-12 or something.
Okay, so you're
something
7.
Crazy.
It's a lot of amateur fights, but I'm saying like you weren't the most successful amateur fighter. Let's just say that. But you actually, as a pro, you're kicking ass. You won 3 fights in a row, and I think a lot of our listeners are amateur fighters who get off to bad starts and they get discouraged and they quit. But you're someone who you basically shows that look. Just because you didn't get off to the greatest start doesn't mean you can't get to where you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. I've never fought at atom weight as an amateur before. I always thought I was a straw weight. I didn't know how to cut weight back then, and back then, like 7 years ago, there was hardly any females in South Carolina. So I just got any fights I could have. I fought my weight class.
Yeah, is that where you?
My walk weight class, which is when. Do what?
Now, is that where you grew up in Myrtle Beach?
That's where I started MMA. I was born in Hollywood, California. I moved out of LA when I was 13. My mom moved us to South Carolina. And now I am in Louisiana training with Andrea KGB Lee, and that's my best friend, and we're full-time training partners.
Nice. You were born in Hollywood? Now, how do you go from Hollywood to South Carolina as a Vietnamese girl? Explain this all to me.
Well, the Children's Hospital was open, and for some reason my mother was closer to Hollywood than L.A. We were living in L.A., but my mother, I was just born there, and then but I didn't live in Hollywood. I lived in LA, Los Angeles, and then she moved us. Being a single mother with 4 children in Los Angeles was really expensive, so then she moved us to Greenville, South Carolina, and then I moved to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, probably about 8 years ago, and then I started MMA 7 years ago.
Wow. Now I saw in your Rise and Fight, you walked out to the cage, and you were doing all these kind of like stripper moves. You were like twerking. You looked hot as shit. It was probably the best walkout ever. Did you ever spend any time as an exotic dancer?
No. I wish. I don't have that such big of balls. I can never strip.
Oh, okay. But where did you learn these moves from?
I've always liked to dance. I'm like an entertainer. I just always have liked to dance.
Well, you're very good at it. And I was like, wow. I honestly think they're dropping the ball with you because you look great. You're the only pro Vietnamese fighter. You hit hard. You're funny. I think you're a promoter's dream. I don't know why Sean Shelby isn't on this. Any advice for her, Yves?
I'm just laughing at you. You sound like you trying to hit. You talk about you're funny.
No, I'm just saying. I think that she should be more. I think you should be like a household name. If it was up to me, I would fucking. I mean, she's a. You got to see this walkout, dude. It was insane. It was like people had boners for the first time in years. I'll actually show it to you. It was very. Now.
How you doing, Andy?
So anyway, you took one of her.
Hi.
You took one of Yves' seminars.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. In Louisiana.
Yeah, her and Andrea came. We were at Gladiators, Tim Crater's gym in Lafayette, right? Was it Lafayette?
And how was it?
Yes, Lafayette.
Did you learn a lot?
Yeah, some of the combinations was really similar, but I like the. I did. I like it a lot. Some of it was a little different, and the wrestling was fun too.
Nice. Now one of my friends, BB Laced, you guys have this rivalry. BB is out of Jackson's gym, a very attractive Asian girl. She beat you the first time, although it was very close. You beat her the second time. She thinks it was close. What's up with you and BB? Are you guys friends now? Do you guys still have that? What's going on with you two?
She wants another rematch, which of course I would grant to her. The promotion's not going to give it to her until next year because she just lost. We were friends beforehand, like before I even dropped to atom weight. We would just help each other. She came down to Louisiana and trained with us. She's a gym hopper. She goes everywhere. So we're cordial. We're neutral. A lot of people think it's a big rivalry or something. It's not really.
Okay.
It's not really. I'm pretty respectful with her.
Now, how did you get into mixed martial arts? Like, how does a girl like you? So you're 28 years old. You're living in what? South Carolina?
I'm 35 years old.
I know, but you were 28 when you started. You were 28. You were living in South Carolina. What were you doing for work?
I'm Vietnamese, duh. So we did nails.
Really? You were actually doing? Really? You were doing nails for real?
Yeah, I was.
All right, so you were doing nails. Did you go to college? Did you have any college degree?
Well, that was it. That was cosmetology. So that was half college. Right.
Okay. You were in Vietnamese college, which is like doing nails, and now and you're just bored. You're like, you know what? I can't see that my rest of my life is working at a nail salon. You're like, I need to do something more fun. So then you walk into a MMA gym. Is that how it went down?
No. What happened was 7 or 8 years ago, MMA was legalized in South Carolina. I have moved to Myrtle Beach because my son needed to be closer to his father. His father lived there. So I moved so they could have a better relationship. And his father and his fiance had invited me to an MMA event. And I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to see two guys fighting in the cage. They look like animals. It's retarded. And then they were like, well, we got you a ticket anyway. And I didn't have any friends because I just moved to Myrtle Beach. So I went with them. I went with my baby daddy and his fiance. And then, I was just mingling. I didn't pay attention to the male fights, but these two strawweights came out. And I was like, oh, my gosh, these female strawweights. And I was like, I have to do this. I didn't know girls could do it. I thought it was just I thought it was just guys. So I ran up to my son's father, and I was like, I want to do this. See, we dated when we were in high school, and he was like, you know what? This is so you. I didn't even think about this. So he hooked me up with the gym right away, and 3 months later, I won my first amateur fight, and that was it.
Now, did you play any sports in high school or anything athletic?
Like basketball and volleyball. That's about it.
Wow. So you really had no background in mixed martial arts at all, and you were just like, fuck it, I want to do this.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
she's Asian.
is that because she's Asian? Is that why?
They have like a natural instinct.
I don't know.
All right. So, and now here you are. You won your last 3 fights, which was kicking. I mean, you're doing very well. Now, I remember you telling me you came to my show. You liked it a lot. You're like, hey, are you performing tomorrow night? I have a Tinder date. I want to take him to your show. Are you still on Tinder?
Yeah, there's a site too. They're so funny. One of my friends in Michigan sent me a site. He goes, "Did you see that you're on this thing that they're making fun of girls on Tinder?" Well, they weren't making fun of me, but they were making fun. I'll just send you the link. It's kind of funny. Yeah. But like, if you're dating a girl named Andy that can kick ass, you're pretty much the bitch. And it shows my whole entire profile. It was like an older profile or something.
Now, I mean, how are you single? You're very attractive. You're a fighter. You're in Vegas. I mean, is it just guys are just trying to bang you the first night and you don't like them, or guys intimidated by you? Like, what's going on?
Well, I mean, it's a full-time job. I'm always in the gym 30 hours a week. I'm in Louisiana. I don't date anybody in Louisiana. If you've ever been down here, like all the guys younger than me, they look like they're 40. The only person that looked good was, Yves doing the seminar. But like, I swear to God, there's nobody that I don't even turn on my Tinder when I'm in Louisiana. I'm just here for work, and it keeps me focused because there's nothing else to do in the country.
Right. So you're kind of okay. So you're looking for a guy. How many kids do you have?
Just one.
Just one. Okay. And do you go from mostly white? I know the girl we had last week. Alyssa loves fat guys. That's her thing. Is like she likes out of shape dudes. Are you into out of shape dudes? Are you into bodybuilders? Are you into white guys, black guys? What's your type?
White guys don't have to be with abs. I dated some black, but they were always like players, so it kind of turned me off. And I haven't seen a really good looking Asian guy. My biceps are like too big for them usually. So I hate to feel bigger than my significant other or my date. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Funny. It has to be funny. Sense of humor is number one.
There you go. Now, is it hard having such big
Definitely.
biceps? Because like when you give a guy a hand job, it's like 2 strokes, and then it's done, or no?
No, stop. No. 3.
3. Okay, there you go. 3. There you go. Nice. 3. Okay, so all right. So we're fighting in King of the Cage. You're the champion. Have you talked to Sean Shelby or any of these guys? Anybody at Bellator? Or what about Invicta?
They asked about me, but by the time they asked about me, I already re-signed with King of the Cage, and I have like fights coming up with Ryzen.
Right.
So I have to finish this contract first.
Do you have any advice for this girl, Eve?
I don't have any advice, but Andy, how do you feel about fighting at 115 rather than 105?
I don't know. I'm pretty dominant at 105, 115. I would just be like an average girl. I think it'd be like a toss up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I heard they're gonna put a 105 in the UFC. That's the word on the street.
Really?
Yeah.
Which street
And
you
like,
are?
and now that I train so much, I'm only walking around at 122. So that would be only cutting like 7 pounds.
Now,
6, 7 pounds. That's nothing.
Now, Shane, your last wife was Asian and hot, but she became psycho, correct?
No, she was psycho the whole time.
The whole time.
Was she?
Now, my ex was Filipino and also a little bit psycho. They don't start off psycho. They just gradually, little flags start coming up.
No.
Yeah.
I had flags the whole time. I just wasn't. I had blinders on.
Yeah, blinders. Yeah. I know. Now, Andy, are you a normal chick? You all of a sudden, or like, is that why you're single? Where you start off normal, and then all of a sudden you start getting very jealous and wanting to fight people in public.
No, that's not how it goes. We train so much, I'm too tired to even get jealous or anything like that. Or getting in a street fight.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. All right, well, listen, Andy the Crazian. By the way, you got to put your last name in your bio. Because,
okay.
Yes, do that. Because it's hard to act, but yeah, it's hard to know your last name unless you go onto your website. So,
dude, it's so common. Like, Dat Nguyen is from the Cowboys. You got that poker player, Scotty or Stephen Nguyen.
Yeah.
You should know that last name by now, Adam.
I know. You're absolutely right. But listen, I'm a big fan of yours. I can't wait to... Where can I watch this King of the Cage fight?
It will be on their Facebook fan page or MAP TV.
MAP TV. And what do you know about your opponent? Anything?
She's Canadian and she's hot, too.
Canadian and hot.
What's her name?
What's her name?
Melissa Sophia Karaganakis. This is also a rematch. She was my first loss as a pro. I lost split decision. So you guys do have to tune in to watch this rematch.
Now, are you into strictly guys or girls as well?
No, I'm not into girls. I've kissed a lot of girls, but I've never gone down on a girl.
Right. Well, that's the difference between guys and girls. I can't be like, yeah, I'll make out with dudes, but I won't go them, but I got it. All right. CB, you're single, right? Oh no, you have a girlfriend.
No, I'm not single. I'm far from single.
All right. Well, listen, guys. So where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Andy the Crazian, or Twitter. I believe I'm Andy the Crazian. It's just Andy the Crazian.
Nice. Now, what's your walkout going to be for the King of the Cage?
I can't tell you. That's why you got to tune in.
Oh, God. All right. Fine. I'll tune in. All right. If it's anything like that Rise and Walkout, American Woman, I will 100% watch it. Nothing like a Vietnamese girl dancing an American woman. All right. So, listen. Thank you. Thanks for being on the show. Want to have you back. You're great.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Take care.
Take care, Andy. Take care, Andy.
All right.
Good luck.